The following program is an exclusive presentation of Bright House Networks. The Bright House Networks High School Football Game of the Week pregame show. Sponsored by CSUB Athletics.
Good evening, Kern County. We certainly hope you have the happiest of Turkey Days. Vance Palm, Brian Adams, Paul Press. You're watching the CSUB Athletics pregame show on the Bright House Network's exclusive high school football game of the week. Semifinals right here. What a ball game. BHS Drillers at Centennial Golden Hawks. This is going to be one for the ages. We have a very, very nice pregame show for you. But before we get going, how about a 15-second snapshot tonight, Paul Press, of this football game?
Well, it's simply going to come down to, does Brock Bivens have enough in his legs and his arm? And can the Centennial defense do it without Xander Fabre? That's about it.
Brian Adams, you played in some very, very big games, Valley Championships, and then when you were the Bruins, you played in some awfully big games. How does this rank up there as far as big games, Brian?
Well, Vance, this is going to rank up one of the big games, and locally in recent history, you got the top team in the SEYL, top team in the SWYL. It's going to basically come down to what team's going to make the fewest mistakes. If there are mistakes, what team capitalizes?
We are at Centennial, a very festive atmosphere. Do you have anything with you? What's going on? Anything with you? All right. Before we get into tonight's game, Drillers at Golden Hawks, let's get into some other games around Kern County. It's playoff atmosphere. Paul, these are the teams, Brian, that have made it through this far already. Let's take a look at every game, and then before we go to break, we'll make our picks. Bakersfield Christian High School at Fowler. We covered BCHS. First time ever on Bright House Network. Staff came in, thumped them, but here they go against Fowler. Your thoughts about this game tonight? Not a pick, Paul, but your thoughts.
Oh, my thoughts? BCHS has a lot of offense. A lot of offense. I don't think Fowler has seen an offense this explosive. I think Fowler puts up a lot of points, kind of teasing my pick.
Interesting game. BCHS, young school. They were on a big roll, Brian, and then Taft kind of put them back in reality, but here they are. Championship game, by the way.
Well, let's look at that reality. Reality, they lost to two teams that are ranked number one in the Division III and Division IV series. So we're talking about a solid team with good offense and a defense to match. But Fowler's the number one ranked team in that division, and they're going to be traveling. So look for an interesting game on that for the championship.
Another game way out on the west side of the county, Chowchilla at Taft. Taft, really very impressive. If you read the Bakersfield, California, any of the Max Preps information on Taft, two of their young backs have put together a lot of yardage. Taft and Coach Sprague really showed us a lot, Paul. Snapshot of Chowchilla at Taft.
Well, Chowchilla, they may be tough, and they are starting to build their tradition. But I'm going to tell you right now, Taft, start getting ready to host next week because they can move the ball. They're too big, too strong, too fast. Chowchilla's never seen a team like this.
Do you agree?
I agree definitely with Paul on this. Chowchilla's not going to be able to match up with Taft. We've seen Taft at the big physical front line and the backs. I mean, any of those guys can go the distance at any one point in time.
Big football game tonight over on the southeast side of Kern County. Fresno Washington Union is going to take on Foothill High School. I talked to Dennis Manning earlier this week, just kind of chit-chatted about some things. That's a great football game. We picked one of our pre-APP awards to go to young Matt Guerra, the junior quarterback of Foothill, but whoa, does Union have a quarterback coming down here tonight to play at Foothill? Paul Press, snapshot.
Well, from what I understand, Washington has a great quarterback. Should be a battle over there. Problem is, they have maybe 2 or 3 playmakers. I think Foothill has about 3 or 4, plus a very stingy defense.
Brian, I like what Paul's saying here. It's a little bit deeper than just one position when you look at that Union Foothill matchup. Don't give us a pick yet. Kind of give us a snapshot, though.
Well, one thing about Washington Union, traditionally they've been athletic. They're going to bring an athletic team, a great quarterback. But again, I like Foothill. They're senior led with Davenport Jones and the host of other guys that can make plays for them.
Before we get to this game, because we still have to go to a break, let's talk about the other game here in this county, and this is a big one. It's up on the hill. If you think it's going to be cold here tonight, one of Coach Denman's favorite things to use is the geographical location of Tehachapi as they host Garces, one of the oldest, biggest rivalries here. And I talked to Coach Fanucchi a little bit earlier in the week. Didn't get a hold of Denman, but this is a game where, as Coach Fanucchi says, hey, it seems like a long time ago when we played them earlier in the season. Garces Rams up on the hill against the Warriors of Tehachapi. Snapshot, Paul.
Snapshot, the weather's not bad enough up there to be in favor of Tehachapi.
Good point.
Yes, it's a little cold, but I thought it would be rainy, maybe even a little bit of snow up there at this point, but it's not. Garces Rams been playing very good as of late.
Might be a sneak peek into his pick. Brian Adams, Garces Tehachapi, two excellent coaches, two excellent traditions. great programs are the kind of programs, Brian, that don't get worse. They don't tail off as the season goes. They get better. They get smarter. They make better decisions. Your thoughts, snapshot only, of Garces at Tehachapi.
Well, Garces going to come out and Cal's have to play a great game and use the guys they did. We saw in Golden Valley, a plethora of running backs, and they're able to sprinkle the ball running, and the defense will be stingy. But Tehachapi always plays great defense up there, and again, the green team will win.
When we come back, we will have the picks for these 4 games that we just talked about, and then we will get very, very specific about BHS at Centennial. For Brian Adams, Paul Press, I'm Vance Palm. You're watching the CSUB Athletics pregame show. Back in a moment with our picks for these 4 games and the big one on Bright House Network's Bakersfield exclusive coverage of high school football game of the week. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving.
Bakersfield, are you ready for game day? The CSUB Roadrunners are ready to take on all new NCAA Division I opponents. This is runner basketball like never before. Buy season tickets today beginning at just $100 for a full season of D1 hoops against teams like Oregon State, Utah State, San Jose State, Fresno State, UOP, Long Beach State, Pepperdine, and more. Go to GoRunners.com for a full schedule or call 654-BLUE to reserve your seats for this historic Roadrunner basketball season. Get ready for a fun and exciting season of runner hoops.
As a Bright House Network's digital cable customer, Jenny always finds something to watch on her schedule, thanks to on-demand programming. And with an ever-changing library of entertainment, there's quite a bit to choose from. What's with all the snacks?
Oh, I bet my roommate I could watch all the on-demand programs back to back.
That's impossible.
Really?
Well, there are more than 2,000 programs on demand that satellite can't bring you. Movies, premium channels, even HD.
Yeah, I'm gonna need more soda.
On-demand programming, powered by Bright House Networks.
Welcome back to the CSUB Athletics pregame show, high school football game of the week. Vance Palm alongside Brian Adams and Paul Press. In just a moment, fellas, we're going to talk about the specific game tonight that everybody's watching. Let's re-look at these picks. BCHS at Fowler. Paul Press.
BCHS.
Championship to BCHS. Congratulations.
I go with BCHS as well. Chowchilla at Taft.
Taft.
I'm going to go again with Paul.
I'm going Taft as well. Washington Union at Foothill.
Foothill.
You know he's stealing my picks, Foothill.
Well, then I'm stealing both of your picks. No doubt, Coach Manning and Foothill in a big, big football game. Here's the one that might be a little interesting. Garces at Tehachapi. Paul Press.
Well, we talked about it, and I'm going to let Brian say my pick because he knows it.
Well, you know, I brought him to the other green side. We're going with the Garces Rams on this one.
Whoa, a trifecta. I also will go with Coach Fanucchi and the Garces Rams. We didn't talk about this, fellas. Whether you believe us or not, doesn't really matter. We're all three going with it. We're going with the same picks on all 4 games. All right. Bakersfield High School Drillers tonight at Centennial. The only loss for the Drillers against this Centennial squad. Centennial only has 1 loss themselves. We've covered each team 3 different times. We've had a real good look at all 3 teams. We know the coaches. We know the players. Paul, I'm going to start with you first. Give us not a snapshot. Break it out a little bit and tell us about your thought about tonight's game. Both teams, Paul. Both teams.
Well, let's start right away with the offense of the Bakersfield High Drillers. Going over this and looking at it as a coach, former coach, looking at the stats, they have several guys. AJ, Van Horn, Emmanuel Turner, 12, 11 touchdowns, plus JJ Johnson with 10 touchdowns right there. You look over at Centennial's offense, yes, they have Bivens, who I consider probably one of the best quarterbacks in the San Joaquin Valley with his arm and his legs and his experience. But other than that, Dustin Robinson is the only one that has 10 touchdowns. If you look at it that way, VHS scores more. Now let's turn it around and look at their defense. Xander Fabre is not playing from what we understand tonight. This kid is big time. We all know he's going Division I. Losing him in the middle, that's a big presence. Then you look on BHS side. That 3-5 defense, yes, they've been scored on, but not a whole lot. It's going to be a very difficult task for Centennial tonight. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I look for BHS to maybe put a spy somewhere on there and make sure Bivens doesn't get out of the pockets. That's the key for them.
Paul, let's talk about this BHS defense a little bit. You know, so much is put on the quarterback, President Mitchell, and we've got Bivens on the other side. What about the defense of Bakersfield High School?
Well, here's what I think we're going to see. Bakersfield High is going to bring it to Bivens. However, they need to keep one linebacker somewhere there to spy him because Bivens has tremendous presence on the field and has got a great set of legs. He can run around and move. And then another good thing about Bivens is he keeps his head up. So there, I think BHS is going to spy him, and we might see a little bit more man-to-man coverage on the outside with BHS tonight.
Paul Press, we'll be back to you in just a moment for your pick. Brian Adams, Paul gives us his word. Let's kind of get your feedback from both schools. Why don't you start first with Centennial High School and then bring it back to your alum, BHS. Kind of give us your look at both teams, both offense and defense.
Well, Centennial High School, one thing people are going to talk about is Xander Fabric not being here. You alluded to earlier before the game when we were talking, Vance. They haven't played with them for a while. They know how to play without them. One thing about Nixon, he plays a system, so they want to plug and chug players in. Now, offensively, you got to remember, they scored 28 points against the Drillers. They did it by spreading them out and throwing the ball, taking advantage of some mismatches with their offense. Dustin's going to have a big game for them to have a chance to athletic ability. Now, talk about the Drillers. The Drillers are dynamic in the fact that they have 4 or 5 guys that can take the ball the distance and make big plays. Will they abandon the run if they struggle? That's what we saw them do in the Liberty, and it worked for them, starting to get the ball in the offense, spreading the ball out to Van Horn, who had a huge game in that championship game. Now let's talk about the Driller defense, the 3-5. The only time we see the 3-5 in goals air really get handled was against Centennial. So you know Gold's going to make adjustments, and I think it's awfully hard to beat a team twice.
Brian Adams, both coaches run their respective squads when it comes to matching up. Nixon runs the offense, Gola runs the defense. Your thoughts on these two great football minds going at it?
Well, Vance, the thing about it is you're going to try to counteract and make some plays. Tonight, if you're the Gola defense, if they make a couple big plays, you just got to stay with it and say, hey, guys, we were here just a couple months ago. Let's not panic, keep ourselves in the game, give the offense a chance to win it.
We are here at this penultimate moment of our CSUB Athletics pregame show. We have time now for some predictions and our last closing thoughts here. Paul Press, second full season with us on Bright House Network's Bakersfield. Next week there'll be a Valley Championship game, but this is an awfully big one. You've been around a lot of big football games. Give us your prediction tonight, Bakersfield High School Drillers at Centennial Golden Hawks.
Well, I tell you, 2 excellent coaches like you guys were talking about, but my pick tonight, I did it before when we were up on this stage. I'm going to grab the helmet. There it is, Bakersfield High, right here. No more than 14 points, but I believe they're going to handle this and take care of business.
Brian Adams, obviously the Blue Crew, big part of your life, but you're a very, very savvy cat when it comes to picks in football. We've had these discussions before. Give us your inside look and your pick for tonight's football game.
Well, Vance, like I said, beat a team twice, a good team twice, is very hard to do. I just think right now the Drillers have too many weapons. Drillers are going to walk out tonight with a victory.
I've been asked to make predictions tonight. Very rarely do I do that because most of the time I really don't know what I'm talking about. But Paul Press and Brian Adams have put me on the hot seat tonight. Normally, I would go with my nephew Cooper Dammer, but not tonight. I am going Centennial Golden Hawks some way, somehow tonight. They're going to reach deep and pull out one of the biggest wins in the new era of the Centennial Golden Hawks. I know we had our pregame meeting, and from that drive over here, fellas, something's happened. Throw it all out the window. For Paul Press and Brian Adams, you're watching the CSUB Athletics pregame show. We are so elated to have you with us. Tonight as the game unfolds, we'll talk about our finalists for the APP Awards, and when we come back, the ball will get kicked in the air. For Paul, I'm Brian. For Paul, that's Brian, and I'm Vance. Looking forward to a great kickoff on Bright House Network's high school football game of the week.
The CSUB Roadrunners are ready to take on all new NCAA Division I opponents. This is runner basketball like never before. Buy season tickets today beginning at just $100 for a full season of D1 hoops against teams like Oregon State, Utah State, San Jose State, Fresno State, UOP, Long Beach State, Pepperdine, and more. Go to GoRunners.com for a full schedule or call 654-BLUE to reserve your seats for this historic Roadrunner basketball season. Get ready for a fun and exciting season of runner hoops.
With Bright House Network's high-speed internet, you can download pictures or video in a flash. Unfortunately, Harry here is still on dial-up and has nothing better to do than wait.
No, I don't mind.
Clearly. What are you downloading there, buddy?
Just a really funny video my friend sent me.
Ooh, can't wait to see it.
Ooh, me either.
You know, Bright House offers speeds faster than dial-up or DSL with plans priced to fit both your needs and budget.
My budget?
Then you could spend your evenings watching these funny videos instead of waiting for them.
I like that.
Do more online with Bright House Network's high-speed internet.
Finding an attorney can be an intimidating process.
When you hire an attorney, you're looking for 3 things: trust, respect, results.
At Young & Nichols, we deliver all 3. Let our experienced attorneys get the best results for you.
We'll always respect you and give your case the attention it deserves.
And we're professionals you can trust.
We're here, we care, always for the people.
For over 3 decades, Flashco has been the local equipment company in Kern County. From major job sites to weekend projects, Flashco is the contractor's choice for equipment rental or purchase. We're also sign specialists using cutting-edge technology to create high-quality custom signage for anything. We're also the #1 local supplier of traffic control equipment, including signs, barricades, safety equipment, and more. Plus, our skilled mechanics will repair any make or model of heavy equipment. Flashco, we'll take care of it.
Bright House Networks presents the Bright House Networks High School Football Game of the Week. Sponsored by Barber Honda, Bakersfield College, CSUB Athletics, Flashco. In the law offices of Young and Nichols.
Welcome to the Bright House Networks High School Game of the Week. We're in the semifinal of the Central section. As now, Bivens is behind center. 3 receivers spread out to the right. Bivens drops back. There's somebody to throw to. Moving around. Tackle for a loss by the Drillers. And that's Cantu on the stop right there. So the first play from scrimmage, the Drillers come up with a sack, a loss about a half a yard. Obviously, Bivens wants to get out and try to make some moves with his feet like Paul alluded to earlier. And my buddies will be with us in a minute as soon as they get the headsets taken care of upstairs. Centennial Golden Hawks come up to the line. Bivens barking out his commands, surveying the field. Takes the snap, runs to the right, cuts back for a couple of yards. It's going to be third and about 8 or 9 yards. Driller defense up to the challenge right there, watching out for Bivens. And this Driller defense, that 3-5 defense, a very active, very aggressive defense that will attack. And Bivens, no huddle, they took up the line of scrimmage, ball snap. Bivens looks out to Rhodes, then anywhere to throw, he's scrambling. The Drillers have him deep into Golden Hawk territory. They have a sack by the Drillers. So round 1, Cantu again on the sack. Drillers take round 1 on that first series, forcing the Golden Hawks to punt. You got the younger Mitchell back there ready to receive the punt. And that's Alex and Van Horn, who had a huge game last time we did Bright House and the Drillers on Liberty. He was also our Bright House Barber Hunter player of the game. Bad snap, fielded. Ball's punted out to Alex Mitchell. Alex has it. Goes to the left, makes a move, gets out of bounds, and Drillers will start in excellent field position. It's going to be a big challenge for the Centennial defense right now to stop the Driller offense. Last week, they finally got the ball moving with the receivers, throwing some hitches against that Clovis East defense. But look for the Drillers to attack. Drillers have a great running game. But I think the real key is the ability to have 2 receivers that can make plays. As both receivers, Van Horn and Jiriaki, move out to the right, Pete Mitchell goes under the center. Durando playing the fullback. Van Horn going in motion. It's a handoff there to Jackson. Jackson to the outside. Jackson cuts up. Big run starting off for Jackson. And that's exactly what the Drillers want to see, is Jackson get a good run start early on. And Jackson did a great job following the line and great blocking.
Lopez and Nunez in on the stop for Centennial.
And that's one of the things that was lacking a little bit last week. They're having a hard time running the ball, but first play off the scrimmage, Jackson on that little off-tackle run stretches it out and picks up a good 14, 15 yards. Pete Mitchell now putting a Jiriaki in motion, same play. Fake the reverse to Jackson. Jackson, this time the defense swarms. Centennial defense does a great job. This defense of Centennial is going to be the kind of defense not as fast as BHS, but they play very disciplined and stay their spots. And we're all coached by Ryan Rins, longtime coach on the sideline for the Golden Hawks. You want to keep the Drillers in those third and longs. You don't want them really in those third shorts where they're able to run or pass.
2nd and 9.
So 2nd and 9 for the Drillers coming out. Pete Mitchell brings his team out.
Second and 9 for the Centennial.
Again, he's staying under snap. You will see him go into the pistol formation on a modified shotgun at some point in time in the game. But right now, here's the reverse to Van Horn. And he's stopped for a short gain, so great play right there. Great open field tackle by Robinson. One-on-one with Van Horn. We saw against Liberty, he was making that one-on-one move, making the guy miss and having the big plays. But that time, lost the one, as Dustin does a great job breaking down and making the tackle. Referees, look like it's going to be referee timeout as they let Van Horn fix his shoe. Time's on the referee. Good play, that last play by Robinson. Put him in a situation where this is where you want the drillers at, 3rd and long. You want them to have to make some plays in the air. And this defense right now for Centennial has been playing well of late. Have not been getting many points. They came out sky high, pumped up. I was watching them on the warm-up. They were very clean, very crisp in their warm-up, very focused. You know, the Coach Nixon team, they don't make a lot of mistakes. And that's been their signature throughout his career here. Now Pete Mitchell brings him out. Big 3rd down play right here. Mitchell takes a snap, takes 2 steps. He's looking for Van Horn. No, throwing to Jackie. A break on the ball. Oh, incomplete. And almost an interception. Had that ball been thrown low, it would have been a big play right there by Anthony Masuda, who we saw in this was player of the game when we played the Drillers. The Drillers were defeated here just about a little over a month ago. Pete Mitchell's going to handle the duties. He's also the kicker, the punter, and the quarterback. He's going to handle the duties right here.
Formation for Bakersfield.
And a dangerous return man, Dustin Robinson.
Dustin Robinson deep to receive for Centennial.
Pete Mitchell takes the snap, punts it away from Dustin. They're going to have excellent field position. It goes up out about 25-yard line. So Centennial Golden Hawks defense answers the Drillers defense. Drillers had great field position, and the Golden Hawk defense came right after one big play by Jackson, tightened down the hatches and forced the punt as they had the ball about the 23, 24-yard line. The Golden Hawks are going to come out in that familiar spread formation, single back with the quarterback, and Brock Bivens, who, like Paul alluded to in the pregame, is one of the better quarterbacks in our section. It's a handoff right there. Looks like it's Bertrand.
Johnson stopped by Marcus Nelson.
And it's just a short run right there as he's stopped. That's Christian Johnson right there on a very, very short play. And you can see in the replay, on the flash short replay, just trying to go off tackle to the right, and he's just snuffed out by the Driller defense. Right now they're in the 2-back set, tight end. Shotgun formation still. And Bivens going to keep the ball, but off the corner right there is too much pressure.
Stopped by Tevin Jackson.
And Tevin Jackson on the stop right there just off that edge. And that's one of the things about that 3-5 defense. You never know where the play is going to come from. And you see on this replay right here, he's going to come off the edge, straight down the line. And Johnson just going to throw down Bivens for a loss again. So we're going to have to figure out some way to block these guys off that edge. And that's Tevin Jackson with a loss of 2. So great play by Tevin Jackson off that edge. And this is what the Drillers like to have you 3rd and long. They have to bring that pressure, get these guys coming in, and force you to make a mistake. Bivens on the run, he's using his feet. This is what we talked about. Great job moving his feet, and almost caught by 2 players. And Bivens took a big hit right there as he's a little shaken up, but he gets up. Very tough kid. Just through the arms of Masuda, and then almost the receiver by him almost caught it, but
incomplete pass brings up a 4th down.
But you can see right here, he does a great job of keeping his feet alive, and you're going to see the shot he's going to take right there. He releases it, he gets hit. Ball's going to go right through Masuda's hands right there, almost a big catch. Here's the punt.
Robinson's punt.
And Alex fills it on the run, and again, great field position for the Drillers. Great job of coming up and filling the ball by Alex Mitchell. But the Drillers, once again, had great field position. They talked about special teams, and that's one of the things that the Drillers that we felt had an advantage with the special teams. And again, the offense has good field position. They have to take advantage of it, though. They cannot keep getting this kind of field position and not take advantage of it. About 7 minutes left in the first quarter as Pete Mitchell once again comes out that twin receivers to the right. He's gone to the center. Brings them back in motion. This is the same formation they use, and he hand off this time. Up the middle. No, Pete kips it. And twist out there, but again, Centennial defense is right there. Joey Bertrand right on the spot.
Mitchell dropped for a loss.
You're going to see right here on the replay, he just has nowhere to go, but he's still a quick and exciting player. And Bertrand, great job from that linebacker position, stopping young Pete Mitchell. Who's very flexible, by the way, as that replay. Very flexible. On the drill is a second and about 10 and a half, they call it 11. I like to see them get the offense involved, the receivers involved in this offense, but they're staying with this formation. There you go, drop back, slant. Oh, misread, interception by Anthony Masuda. It was a misread and Masuda's on the right sideline, down the sideline, and out of bounds. And that was just a misread between the quarterback and the wide receiver. The wide receiver's running a short route, like a skinny post, and the quarterback's thinking it's a deep post, and it's overthrown. And Anthony Masuda does a good job at corner, becoming a return man once he catches it, taking the ball down the right sideline. So chalk one up to the defense. The defense is up to the challenge tonight. Now they're going back to three receivers, trips to the left. One receiver to the right, spreading that 3-5 defense out. And the Drills are locking up, playing man-to-man.
Joey Bertrand, the ball carrier.
Joey Bertrand just takes the ball up the middle, but Cantu again is right there making a stop. You got to remember, the Drills only give about 9.8 points per game, and they're very stingy against the run. You know, I think you have to open them up with some short passes, some quick passes, but they're coming up with a lot of pressure. They're going right up, locking up, jamming the receivers, so the receivers have to make some plays for the Golden Hawks to release some of that pressure so they can run the ball. And Jackson's out there one-on-one, jamming up on the receiver. And here it is. Dustin Robinson, that's the guy they want to get. Oh, fumble! And the Drills get the ball back, so each team has a turnover. The difference is the field position, and once again, the Drills have great field position, and they have to take advantage of it. First down, Bakersfield High Drillers. And there's the play, just a little screen up the middle, and Dustin's trying to work hard for some yards, and then he fumbles the ball. And the Drills, again, can they take advantage of this great field position?
Well, Kern County, don't know if you can hear us. We're trying to get the audio worked out here. Brian, hats off to you.
Welcome back, fellas.
Well, hats off to you for about 5.5 minutes of keeping this thing going for us, Brian. And we'll just have to hope that we're being heard, Paul, because I can't hear myself, and I hope that you can hear me, bro. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in. I can hear you now, and I can hear Brian when he was talking, so I think we are on the air. And Brian Adams, I don't know. He might have just worked me out of a job for next year. I don't know. He was doing a great job.
One of the two of us. Well, Paul, what we did do while we were trying to get our audio going here was watch the football game, thank goodness. And a lot of turnovers right now, but here it is. BHS on a 2nd and 5. Turnover after turnover early, but BHS being able to capitalize on field position. 2nd and 5. Van Horn in motion. The president, Pete Mitchell, hands the ball off to Emmanuel Turner. Turner bowls his way ahead to a first down. For those of you that are kind of wondering what the heck's going on, welcome back to Bright House Network's High School Football Game of the Week. This is Vance Palm. Paul Press is up here with me. Brian Adams so ably keeping things going here. Appreciate that, B. 1st and 10. 4.5 left here in the first quarter. Golden Hawks hosting the Drillers in a semi-final Valley Championship run here. President Pete Mitchell has Ojeriaki and Van Horn way out to the right. Turner and Durando behind him. Here comes Van Horn in motion. They give it again to Turner, trying to get outside. Great play out there, brought down, of course, by Joey Bertrand. Bertrand hadn't practiced all week, Paul, but here he is on our Flash Go replay.
Yeah, and here it is, Bertrand coming right there. The one thing I do know about Bertrand is he's very fast for a backer. He will get there. He's also third in their team in tackles. He's had quite a few tackles this year, so he's one of the guys that's going to have to step up and play big for him tonight.
No gains, 2nd and 10. Just underway here in the first quarter. Drillers on the 15-yard line of Centennial. Mitchell hands off to Turner again. Turner looking for the speed. Doesn't get anything. Maybe a yard, maybe 2. Our first flag of the football game, and it's going to be a hold on the Drillers. That will come back. The CSUB Athletics pregame show. Paul, Brian, and myself enjoyed giving that to you, laying things out for you. This is a very, very big football game tonight in Bakersfield. There's some more going on. We'll get to those in the second quarter. We touched on them. If you didn't catch the pregame show, we'll get back to it. But now, a 2nd and 20 as the Drillers, they have a turnover. Centennial has a turnover. Maybe some jitters, but I doubt it.
No, and what I've seen so far right now is the Drillers are trying to go outside on Centennial, and Centennial has very good speed from side to side. Remember, Xander Fabre's not in the middle. I'm assuming right now that they're going to start trying to pound it in between the tackles because the offensive line of BHS is really doing a good job of getting out and making blocks. It's just on the outsides aren't there.
Mitchell with Durando and Turner behind him. This time they fake it to Turner. Mitchell goes up in the air, has a man open, overthrows Van Horn. Ooh, Van Horn had made the move on Preston Lopez, and he was open. The aforementioned Xander Fabry standing on about the 34-yard line in his Letterman jacket as we see this nice tight spiral, just a little overthrown, and it was heading towards Van Horn, just outstretched, but 3rd and 20, Golden Hawks trying to make a big stance here. You're watching the high school football game of the week on Bright House Networks Bakersfield. A little shaky getting with you on audio, but here we are, everybody. Here we are. 3rd and 20. Mitchell, I formation with Durando and Turner behind him. Ojeriaki and Van Horn off to the right. This is the set we've seen so far tonight. Mitchell across the middle, has Ojeriaki. Can Ojeriaki get in? He does. Touchdown, BHS. That looked kind of easy.
Yeah, as we're going to see it, hopefully we'll get a shot of it here as we see everybody celebrating in the end zone. They better calm down, a little bit too much celebration. These officials won't like it. Well, what happened here is they run Van Horn on what we call clear out. Ojeriaki delays just a second and runs a quick post, skinny slant underneath, and Van Horn clears it out. They cross Ojeriaki underneath, and then Mitchell throws a nice ball, catches him in stride, and then Ojeri's athleticism takes it in.
The old funkification for the PAT. Mitchell looks, wants to toss it, and he does, and that's a 2-point conversion to Van Horn, and that'll be 8-0 BHS. Everybody lined up left. It was the center and the holder. Paul Press, 2 points.
Yeah, well, we used to call that the old swinging gate.
Here's the
but
TD
now
first.
They do here we is. All right, now, flash go replay. And right there, you saw Van Horn go by the screen. There's Van Horn, and Ojeriaki delays. It comes underneath him and basically catches, stretching the defense out right there, and the catch is underneath. Nice pass. Here on the 2-pointer flash code replay on this 2-pointer, normally they set the swinging gate out and then come here, but here they set up and then move the line out over there. And then this is Mitchell's athleticism right here. When Mitchell gets outside, he's so capable of running, but right there, Van Horn just goes down. Defense comes up, throw it over him. Defense sits back, run it in.
Well, it was awkward because there's 3 guys lined over center, and when the ball was snapped, none of them rushed.
No, they didn't quite know what to do. But I'm a little concerned. Why would Gola and his crew go to the bag of tricks this early in the game? Is there something wrong with their kicking game? Why aren't they just getting the extra point? Or do they think it's going to come down to a 1-point game? It's that tight of a game that they're trying to go for 2 right off the bat.
8-0, 2:58 left here in the first quarter. High school football game of the week's semifinal run to the Valley Championship. Mitchell lobs about an 8-iron up there. Penalty whistle before we even get going, Paul Press.
Yeah, as we can see it, I was looking right at us, right down below us, and about half of BHS crew on their sideline of the field was about 5 yards past the ball there before it was kicked. So they're going to turn that one back, set it back 5 yards, make them kick it again. And this is it. You know, Pete Mitchell, quarterback, Mr. Everything there. He's kicking off, and he doesn't have a real strong leg as far as kicking deep. And you can already see that they have, Bertrand, number 6, Marcus Nelson. Well, I was right. Bertrand, number 6, all the way back. But then they have their speed guys up playing the upbacks because they know Mitchell's not going to kick it that deep.
Mitchell with about the 5-yard head start. Now he gets a good leg into it, and he'll be taking it about the 10-yard line. Oh, boy, loose football out there. Shaky stuff for the Golden Hawks. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Ay.
Beautifully placed ball. Man, does Pete Mitchell do anything wrong? This guy, there's one spot that ball needs to land in. It was behind the upbacks, in front of Bertrand. He couldn't get over there. And boy, it takes a bounce, hits on the ground, almost gets kicked around, and now they're starting way back in their territory again, 14-yard line. The Hawks got to get out of this hole. They got to get the ball past half the 50-yard line. They've been back here playing on this side of the field since the kickoff.
1st and 10, Golden Hawks. Bivens, the quarterback. I talked to him before the game. I said, Bivens, are you ready? He looked at me and goes, Vance, I'm always ready. Well, now's the time to prove it. 1st and 10 under 3 minutes in the first quarter. Bivens been under pressure all night. Durando takes a big hit. Bivens gets wrapped up by Durando and also Alex Mitchell in there. So Bivens has been under constant pressure since the minute this game started.
Yeah, and as we can see, we talked about it on the pregame show, they're going to come after Bivens. They cannot let Bivens just sit back. And they're running some man, like I talked about in the pregame show. Had a feeling, I hadn't been out to BHS practice, but I had a feeling they were going to man up on the outside, bring the house at Bivens, and then leave one guy there to spy. And this 3-5, you've got 5 linebackers out there, so they're coming at all angles. And right now, it's causing a lot of confusion with the Centennial offense.
8-0. Coach Gola's got his drillers up, bouncing off their toes right now. They're fired up. Bivens on a handoff. This time it goes to number 6, Joey Bertrand. Bertrand gets maybe a yard or two. Well, we're glad to be with you. Paul Press and I, after the national anthem, had a little bit of a shake-up here as our director, the head honcho, ran up here and got us plugged back in. Thank you to Bernie Johnson. We are under 2 minutes left in this first quarter. This first quarter has kind of flown by. We missed the first 4 minutes of it, but be that as it may, only 1 or 2 quick penalties. It didn't take up that much time, and the Drillers lead by 8. 8-0 on a 3rd and 15. Bivens throws it out there. Van Horn almost comes down with the one-handed interception. He was out there with Dustin Robinson, the speedy senior who's just signed with Fresno State to play baseball. Here's a good look at it, Paul, in a flash go replay.
Yeah, and Van Horn's one-on-one with Robinson all the way. Now in a pure foot race, I'll take Robinson. But on the football field, Van Horn knows angles and did a good job there. Not saying that Robinson won't get one tonight, because I think Robinson will stretch the field enough, and with his speed, he'll get one tonight.
1.5 left in this first quarter. A chilly, cool night in Bakersfield. Mitchell's going to take it at the 40. If he gets good blocking, it could end up good for him. Mitchell looks upfield, has good blocking, looks for the hole. This is Alex Mitchell, everybody. That's the vice president that gets up to about the 17-yard line. Brian Adams, thank you for keeping Paul and I in the football game. We see you talking to Greg Kerr, but I need you now, Brian. Is this a case where the Drillers can start making some noise real early? B.
All right, I can't hear them at all, so there's no need even.
Well, you're on, Brian. You were on. Your mic was open.
That's all right, Brian. We'll get back to you. 1:18 left here in the first quarter. Pete Mitchell has an I formation. Durando and Turner behind him. Could it be the Thanksgiving bug that got into our audio systems? I don't know. The turkeys are out. We have a halftime on the field. We have a timeout on the field. Coach Nixon's called a timeout or quick, Paul. I think that's a good call right here. All the momentum with the Big Blue crew.
Yeah, he needs to settle his crew down, make the adjustments, get the right personnel on the field, settle the guys down, because what they do not want is to go down 16-0 or 15-0 or whatever. Who knows what goal in the game is going to go for if they score a touchdown. That's not what they want. But, I've been mulling this over for a couple of days now, and I talked to everybody today at lunch. I took an unofficial poll there at Luigi's when we were having lunch, and I think it was like 3-1, everybody picking the Big Blue crew. A couple of people picked the Hawks, but, today everybody come up, saw you there. Whoa, hey, Brett. First thing I said, who do you pick? Who do you pick tonight? So, I don't know. BHS, their offensive line is really looking sharp right now. They're really establishing themselves and coming. And then on the defensive side, man, they're coming at all angles and putting pressure all over Bivens.
All right. 1st and 10 for BHS. Pete Mitchell has Durando and Turner behind him. They are on the 17-yard line after his brother Alex Mitchell brought in a nice return. Cooper Dameron in motion. Turner trying to get outside. Paul made a great point about the fact that these DBs for Centennial very quick, but Coach Gola willing to continue to try to get to the outside with his speedy backs.
Yeah, they try to get to the outside, and even on the short side of the field, they were on the right hash, and they get Emmanuel. I think he was going to go off tackle, but he bounces it to the outside, and Centennial pursues very well from side to side. their linebackers have always done that. Last year I was so impressed with them side to side, sideline to sideline.
2nd and 7. Dameron in motion again. Mitchell looks at him. But again, they give it to Turner. Turner cuts up. Nice blocking in the interior there. Turner's still on his feet. So Coop Dameron cuts in and makes a nice block as Turner gets free. Wow, now the Drillers going to have a first down and goal from, well, I think they got the first down. Oh, we got a penalty on the play. Didn't see it, everybody. Sorry about that. Did not see the penalty, so that'll come back against the Drillers. And that'll make it 7 and about 17, so big penalty against BHS.
Got illegal motion there. Looks like maybe motion guy may have broke towards the line of scrimmage just a half a second too early or something. It didn't look like it to me, but of course we're up off the field, so we'll look at it. But I don't know what it could be, but it proved our point that BHS very capable of running the ball in between the tackles.
2nd and 11. Ojeriaki and Van Horn out to the left, nobody on the right. Mitchell wants to go to Van Horn, does, sees Van Horn, lays it out there perfectly. Touchdown, BHS. What a great pass by the president.
Wow, what a beautiful pass and what a great route. Vince Van Horn runs what we call the old poker. He runs in like he's going to run a slant, stops, spins back around, and creates opening right there, gets behind the corner, settled up, and here it is. They don't get over in time. Vince is showing some speed, but he ran a beautiful route, set right where he's supposed to sit, and Mitchell throws another strike, and here we go. Let's curiosity, here we go. They're lined up like they're going to kick it.
Well, I don't think there's any problem in the kicking game. That would be kind of foolish to think, as it's been strong all year. Mitchell on the hold, Mitchell on the kick, and it's good. And that makes it 15-0. If nothing else, I think Coach Gola trying to just show somewhat of a relaxed approach here after their first touchdown when they went with the chicanery, shenanigans, and all of a sudden it's 15-0. 36 seconds left in the first quarter, and if you're the Centennial, well, we're right above the Centennial crowd, and they are absolutely stone cold silent.
Very quiet. I mean, very, very quiet. I kind of looked over, and they're just sitting there going, wow. But, you know, this is not where they wanted to be. You know, with 36 seconds only left in the first quarter, they're already down 15-0. And this, you know, I was looking at the stats and pregame show, I'm just looking. I said, man, I don't know how Centennial beat them last time, because if you look at it, I mean, BHS has so many weapons. I mean, AJ, Alfonso Jackson, 12 touchdowns this year. Van Horn, 11 touchdowns. Emmanuel Turner, 11 touchdowns. Jay Johnson, Jared 10 touchdowns. Ojeriaki, 8 touchdowns. I mean, it goes on and on and on. They score. I mean, they've had almost 5,000 total yards so far in offense.
Wow. Peter Mitchell will now kick off again. Peter Mitchell boots it up, and they'll be taking it about the 15-yard line again. Lopez has it. Lopez looking for blocking. Lopez tries to cut upfield. Lopez has some room. Needs a couple blocks. Peter Mitchell's one guy to beat. Peter Mitchell doesn't make the tackle. Lopez cuts back up. Lopez finally brought down out there by Irving Gant. Preston Lopez gets it to the 23-yard line, and whoa, that's exactly what the doctor ordered.
What was impressive right here, he gets to the opening. Now look, he tells his guy right there, hey, you get Mitchell, I'll cut off you. And that gets him an extra 10, 15 yards right there. He let his blocker get out there to get that one last guy. And this is what the Hawks needed. Now they're on the 25 going in. Finally got past that 50-yard line.
1st and 10, Golden Hawks, 22 left here in the first quarter. Bright House Network's high school football game of the week. It's a pleasure to be with you the night after Thanksgiving. Some people call it their favorite Friday of the year. It's going to be a great Friday night here. Bivens in the shotgun. He has been under the gun all first quarter, but it's a nice play out there. It's a nice pitch and catch out there to Anthony Musada. Musada actually thrown for a loss. The front 4 or 5 for BHS just fearsome.
Yeah, and Mark Durando right there coming all the way from his linebacker's position to get that little bubble screen out there. They try to run a bubble screen to Musada, but man, it's played so well. Ojeriaki just stands up the receiver, so there's no penetration on the blocking.
That's it, into the first quarter. 15-0 already. BHS putting it to the Golden Hawks. We'll see what they've got. It'll be 2nd and 10, and they're at the 25-yard line on Bright House Network's high school football game of the week.
For over 3 decades, Flashco has been the local equipment company in Kern County. From major job sites to weekend projects, Flashco is the contractor's choice for equipment rental or purchase. We're also sign specialists using cutting-edge technology to create high-quality custom signage for anything. We're also the #1 local supplier of traffic control equipment, including signs, barricades, safety equipment, and more. Plus, our skilled mechanics will repair any make or model of heavy equipment. Flashco, we'll take care of it.
Welcome back, everybody, and as we come back from the break, the officials didn't wait for us, and I think Centennial's glad. This has been a very exciting football game for Paul and I the first 15 minutes or 12 minutes, but look at this. Bivens brings it in, touchdown Golden Hawks, and they're back on the board, 15-6, and here's an attempt to get it to 15-7. We do apologize, but the officials jumped the gun, and just like that, before we could get back in the shot, touchdown Centennial. High snap. They better get up and down. They do. Ooh. What a nice play out there by Anthony Musada. Nice to have your receiver as your holding guy, Paul.
Yeah, Musada showed some great hands and athleticism to get it down right there. And as we say, bam, just like that. The Hawks are right back in it. Right back in it. All started with that big kickoff return. Huge return. Gets them in position, gets the fans into it, gets their players into it. And then Bivens gets out there and gets loose and just shows his athleticism, turns on the burners, and no one even close to him until about 2 yards in the end zone where Van Horn can come over and give him a little tap and tell him, I guess, nice run, because you're already in at that point.
Well, Golden Hawks bring a touchdown into the picture here, and for just a second or two, Paul and I thought, ooh, boy, this could get ugly, but pow! Back in, 15-7, BHS leads by a touchdown plus a 2-point conversion, so it's 15-7. Brian Adams carried the first 5.5 minutes of this baby from the field. Don't know if he's still around there, but we'll wait to get confirmation that Brian can hear us. And now the Golden Hawks will kick off to the Drillers. What an eventful beginning to this football game.
Yeah, very eventful. And as we're listening, I just got a score in my one ear that Clovis West is up over Edison. So Clovis West beats Edison. That means the championship game will be played here in Bakersfield.
Wow, look at this. What a nice grab out there by Jarek Johnson. Johnson gets brought down about the 19-yard line. He catches it like a center fielder over his head almost and gets it up to the 18-yard line. So here comes the Drillers. Both teams have had turnovers early in the football game, and Johnson runs into his own guy, and that's good for the Golden Hawks because JJ, very, very dangerous, just pretty much like everybody for the Driller squad. Just underway in the second quarter. Our thanks to the CSUB Athletics Department for helping us host the pregame show all year long. I'm Vance Palm. We've got Paul Press next to me. We think we're settling down here into the second quarter. Mitchell, the quarterback for the Drillers. Well, Jeriaki in motion. Mitchell hands the ball off to AJ, that's Alfonso Jackson. For those of you that are astute Bright House Networks viewers, you'll remember Alfonso Jackson, his freshman year, he came up for the playoffs. First handoff, boom, 70-yard touchdown run. Next handoff, pow, 40-yard touchdown run. Last year, beginning of this year, he touches the ball for the first time. First game, BHS at West, pow, 50-yard touchdown run. He's cooled off a bit, Paul, but still very dangerous.
Yeah, and he's only a sophomore. He still has 2 more years of this. And they're young.
2nd and 4. Confusion out there on the line of scrimmage. Mitchell has problems putting the football in his running back's hand. They were tied up together at the at the line of scrimmage. He tried to get it in Marcus Nelson's hand, just like they almost had to kind of battle for that football there to get the handoff on our Flash Go replay. 3rd and 1. Ooh, big third down for Centennial. But then again, what makes me think Gola wouldn't just make it a two down situation?
Yeah, well, this deep, but with his defense, you never know. But they've got some big guys in the backfield right now. Durando and Jarek Johnson, both strong.
Durando about 2 feet behind Mitchell. He is right behind him. He gets the football, gets hit hard once, and then he gets held up. No, he battles ahead. Ooh, boy. Mark Durando doing the big, dirty, hard work right there and gets the first down for the Drillers. Xander Fabry not in the football game tonight. He's standing at about the 32-yard line with his Letterman's jacket on. A lot of discussion about the Z-Man, Paul, but frankly, hasn't been around for a while.
No, and I want to make this perfectly clear. I came out here this week and talked to Coach Nixon. As always, very impressed with what he had to say. Some of it I'll talk about, some of it's just between us. But we'll get to it after this play. I'm going to clear up about Xander Fabry and his condition.
10 minutes even left in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Drillers. Mitchell again has Ojeriaki and Van Horn out to his left. Nobody on the right side. Mitchell looks as if they have problems at the point of impact as far as handing the ball off. It almost looks like there's really some uncertainty about the handoff between he and his running backs.
Well, that's a whole dive option there. He's trying to read that defensive end. The problem is Centennial's playing so good right now. They've learned how to fake their lanes that they're coming at, so they're having their defensive end squat instead of penetrate. If he penetrates, he hands off. If he pinches down, he's going to keep it, but he's not doing either. He's just squatting right there and making it hard for Mitchell to read it.
2nd and 8 for the Drillers. Mitchell wants to throw. Mitchell looks, has a man open. Oh, the ball gets hung up there to drive. Van Horn should have had the catch. He drops it, so just basically a pretty messed up play for the Drillers. Van Horn absolutely positively had Masuda beat. And you don't know this yet in this angle, Kern County, but Masuda was dead beat for a touchdown, but the ball gets hung up there like a wounded duck, and it floats down. Van Horn couldn't pull it down, but ooh, boy, the Golden Hawks dodged one there.
Yeah, if Mitchell gets it, it looked like he didn't get it out cleanly, but Van Horn had to wait for that duck to come down, and by then, Musada does a great job of playing hands, what we call playing hands. If you're beat like that, turn and run, let him get the ball towards his hands, and then just try to strip it, and that's what he did.
3rd and 8. 3-man front for Golden Hawks. Mitchell out to Van Horn. How's its man? That's going to be a nice first down, a beautiful first down. Van Horn still on his feet. Gets hit hard by 7 Golden Hawks or 8 Golden Hawks. Van Horn pays the price but comes up with a big first down, and ouch.
That was the same route he just scored on, what we call the poker. As we see, he's running in right now. Folks, he just stopped running a slant or the skinny post, and he plants that foot and then runs a back out right there. They're not reading that very well. The Centennial defense, I don't know if they've ever seen that route ran, the way they're running, but it's wide open.
Under 9 minutes left in the first half. I don't know if Brian Adams can hear me. I'll just have to wait to see if he can. 1st and 10, I formation for the Drillers. Mitchell has Durando and Emmanuel Turner behind him. Van Horn in motion. This ball goes to Durando. Durando bowls his way through the middle of the football field. Durando wants to get in the end zone. Will he get brought down? He finally does at the 5-yard line as Ryan Nunes brings him down, but Durando plows through the middle of that line, and ooh, boy, now they're starting to use all their options, Paul.
Yeah, and this is where the Golden Hawks missed Fabry right there because he's such a force in the middle. But right there, Durando's just showing the big guy can move once he gets out there. He's just not for short yardage, but you know what? He's busted quite a few of these this year. You know, they put him in there thinking they're going to get 3 or 4 yards, and he pops it, and you get some big ones, and here we go. Timeout. Gola didn't like what he saw. He's out, running out on the field. He's calling timeout. The reason why he's running out on the field and calling timeout is because his offensive coordinator's right below us, Vance. He's in the booth calling it. He likes calling it from up top. He gets a better view. And here's what happened. He didn't like it, so he's in the headset with Gola, and Gola's running out on the field calling a timeout, because they didn't like what they saw.
Head coach Paul Gola, his assistants Sean McCown, Chad Stoner, Clint Tobias, Chris Rzuski, Pete Mitchell, and Lance McCullough. Coaching staff for the Golden Hawks, head coach Brian Nixon. His assistants Ryan Renz, Dave Rice, Richard Parrott, Paul Ogilvy, Rob Hallam, and Chuck Trujillo. Our thanks to Centennial High School for the warm welcome they gave us tonight. And on a chilly night, it's nice to have a warm welcome. We had a nice pregame show behind the bleachers over there. Thanks again to Paul for all his hard work for getting that set up. And from what I've been told, we have some nice tri-tip sandwiches in the truck waiting for us. Can't wait for that.
Halftime. Getting back on the Fabre thing, since we have a minute, I'd like to clear that up because there's a lot of rumors going around with this young man. And, you know, he's got a scholarship waiting for him. He's going to go Division I. There's been a lot of talk, people saying he's got a concussion, he's had this. There's been no doctors saying he's had a concussion. Problem is he's been having headaches, and Brian Nixon said this is a high school football game. His kid's health, that kid's health is more important than anything else. He's a young man, so it's precautionary only.
First and goal from the 5. Durando and Jarek Johnson behind Pete Mitchell. 15-7. Drillers lead by 8. Mitchell hands off to, of course, oh boy, touchdown, Jarek Johnson. And when they get this close, it's going to be very tough to stop. The Driller faithful are up 21-7. Drillers over the Golden Hawks.
Well, I knew it was going to be a long night. Centennial's got the firepower on offense, but I'm not sure if they want to get into a shootout with BHS. They have so many weapons on BHS. That's the thing. And as you can see right there, he had a hole in the inside, but he decides to pop it out. Bertrand almost has a shot on getting him right there and gets a hand on him, but that's not enough. He's so strong and fast.
Mitchell for the PAT. His brother holds. He puts it through 22-7. 22-7. BHS leads Centennial with 8:12 left in the first half.
Wow. 8-12. You know, I picked BHS, and I want to go back, and I kind of said it'd be by 14 points or so. But this is still a game because Centennial's so offensively powered that, and Coach Nixon, as far as I'm concerned, Coach Nixon's still probably one of the best offensive-minded coaches around. Speaking of coaches, you want to go ahead and talk about it?
We'll get to it in a second, right after this kickoff. 22-7, BHS over the Golden Hawks here in the first half. CSUB pregame show. Brian and Paul picked the Drillers. Earlier at our pregame, we were in cahoots on that, but there's something inside me that talks to me about this Golden Hawks persistence and this will, and I picked that they would find a way to beat this BHS team. Let's see if it happens. 15-point lead for the Drillers. They start off with a touchdown and then some chicanery and trickery and a 2-point conversion. Made it 8-0. Then it made it 15-0, but the Golden Hawks come back with a long kickoff return, and then they get it in the end zone. But now all of a sudden it's 22-7, just like that. Drillers back on top. Still over 8 minutes left here in the first half. I'm hearing from our director, Bernie Johnson, that Brian Adams is back with us. Brian, is that true?
Yes, it is, man.
Oh, Brian Adams with us.
You see a kickoff again, and is he going to take another one back? No, this time the Drillers stop him.
Or do they?
I'll take it back.
Or do they? Nice run out there by Preston Lopez. Well, Brian, it seems like a long, long time since we've talked to you. Your take on the first quarter and a half.
Well, Vance, I think it could be a situation where the Drillers don't take advantage of great field position opportunity and giving the Golden Hawks an opportunity to be in this game and have a chance to steal it.
Thank you, Brian. 8:02 left in this first half. What is looking like it's going to be a pretty exciting football game with whatever's left here in this first half. Drillers by 15, but the Golden Hawks have possession of it. And Super Sammy trying to find Paul and I to get us our sandwiches, but it's been one of those nights. Is it Halloween or Thanksgiving that we're celebrating? I'm trying to figure out which one it is. So with 7:45 left here in this first half, Golden Hawks down 15, trying to make something happen, but it's a 2nd and 9 now.
Almost seems like Groundhog's Day. Wow. Where things have been going. So, well, I'm going to try to find Super Sammy.
Oh, can you hear intercom? 2nd and 9, nice play. Oh, goodness, that was a well-developed play. Well, would have been a well-developing play. Joey Bertrand dropped it, and that would have been a first down for sure. He had a lot of room, if we see on our Flash Go replay here. Watch this, everybody. Bivens just floats one out to Bertrand, and he had a good 7 or 8 yards ahead of him, and he just let it slip through his fingers. The closest player was Sean Andrew, and Andrew would have never caught up with him after he got the first down, but Be that as it may, it's going to be a 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9. Our thanks to Super Sammy for bringing us the hot cocoa and the tri-tip sandwich. Bivens in trouble. Bivens, can he get out of trouble? Bivens cannot. And that'll make it 4th and 9. So the only touchdown Centennial has is a running play by Bivens, but here he tries to do a little dance and get out of trouble. Sees a lot of pressure coming at him on our Flashco replay. Looks for one last little gap here. Thinks he has it, but finally the Blue Crew catch up with him. And that'll make it 4th and 9. Now the Golden Hawks looking for another player, and they're running out of time. Ryan Nunez, of all people, come on. The punt is up. A nice end-over-end punt. It'll be taken out there by Johnson. Fumble! Woo! Boy, great coverage by the Golden Hawks. Had that been out there on that grass for about another second or two, they might have been able to get it, but oh boy, Jerry Johnson falls on that thing in a hurry. And that'll be 1st and 10 Drillers.
Smart choice right there. And instead of picking up and kicking it around or trying to pick it up and run, hey, at that point, just fall on it. You know, you have a 15-point lead. You have an offense that's been moving. You still get the ball on the 25, and here we go.
Mitchell will pitch this ball out to A.J. Alfonso Jackson looking for a gap. Doesn't get it. Great defense by the Golden Hawks. That's a 7-yard loss or a 6-yard loss. Wow.
BHS Drillers got their heart set on going outside on these guys, and it just hasn't been there. They've had things in between the tackles, but not necessarily outside the tackles. They've been trying to run some stretch or toss plays. Hasn't really been there. Golden Hawks really pursue well, sideline to sideline. But I'm not calling their offense. They've got a very capable offensive coordinator, a very, very, very good offensive coordinator, and see how much longer he's going to be at BHS with all these openings.
2nd and 14. Emmanuel Turner takes it. Paul Press. Coach Provençal earlier in the week announced his resignation as far as head football coach at Liberty. Yesterday, Coach Boyd from Stockdale announced his resignation as a head coach. The proverbial spending more time with the family or moving on to new challenges or continuing higher education, be that as it may. We've got new high schools coming into the picture next year. We have 2 big names in high school football here locally with Boyd and Provençal both stepping aside after this play. We'll have a punt, and maybe that'll give us a little time to talk about it, unless, of course, the Drillers get this first down. 3rd and 10. Well, Coach Gola must have heard that you and I and Brian want to talk about coaching changes. Let's hear from you, and then we'll hear from Brian on Provençal and Boyd stepping down and some of these new schools coming up.
Well, the 2 that step down, I have a lot of admiration for, and they're both outstanding coaches, and it's a loss for the kids in our community, but I wish them both well. Coach Boyd and I have been friends since probably 2nd grade, and I had the opportunity to coach with him, as you know, in that 2004 season when they went 10-0 and, well, actually 13-0 and then 13-1 in the final. However, the 2 new schools coming up, those are both going to be nice programs, but, hey, we have 4 Division I schools. 2 of them we're watching, and 2 of them no longer have head coaches right now. Those are premier jobs. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of applicants at both schools wanting those positions because it's very nice.
Brian Adams, you played for some historic coaches here in the Valley. What do you think about all the coaching movement?
Well, Vance, I mean, one of the things you're going to have is a lot of movement when those 2 spots open up. As Paul said, those are two schools that you know have pride in their programs, are going to put some funds behind those programs, and they're going to get the kind of talent to try to win championships. But coaching is grueling. You know, a lot of friends of mine are coaching. They talk about the hours they put into it, and it's just a difficult thing to do. People don't realize that. There's a Drioki wide open. Oh, ooh, great defensive play.
Boy.
Great defensive play by Anthony Masuda.
Well, Paul, Brian, thank you very much. Nice pass from Mitchell to Ojeriaki. Coach Gola stops in there real quick to get a quick word to him as they walk down the sidelines together. We're seeing our flash score replay. Mitchell pretty much puts this one on the money. A lot of traffic around him, but a little bit maybe overthrown, but Ojeriaki's so talented, you just expect him to come down with it. So 4th and 10, and the Drillers were punt. Durando gets in there quickly. Alex Mitchell comes in. Centennial looks like they're bringing everybody to block this baby. Perfect snap. It's an end over end. This thing will, and it takes a Centennial bounce and comes back and goes out at about the, gets tapped out at about the 43-yard line. So uncharacteristic. Pete Mitchell didn't really get the best snap there, and he's over there barking at somebody, yelling at somebody. Pete Mitchell, the president. Is he giving Coach Gola an earful? Goodness.
No, that's not going to happen. He might be upset a little bit that he wanted this or that, but he's not going to give Coach Gola an earful. Nobody in that program gives Coach Gola an earful. I don't care who you are.
Man, the cantankerous, vociferous, and boisterous President Pete Mitchell giving it to everybody over there. Take it easy, Pete. 1st and 10, Centennial. Bivens behind quarterback. Hands the ball up the middle. Nothing doing there. As Paul Press shakes his head. I don't know.
Well, I think the trench wars right now are being won by BHS on both sides of the ball. BHS could be running it in the middle, and they choose to go outside. As I'm looking at it, Centennial might have enough speed to get outside,
right.
And yet they want to pound it in the middle. But that play call right there, I could see what Coach Nixon's doing. He's trying to keep that defense honest. You can't just sit back every time, shotgun and pass. They're going to tee off and come all the time. So you got to try to keep that defense honest.
Well, now Bivens looks over at Bertrand, shakes him to the left. Should have been illegal motion, but it wasn't. They give the option out there. Bertrand has nowhere to go. Keeps it alive just for a second, but that just gives Tevin Jackson a moment to hold up Bertrand. Looked like Bertrand might have still been unsettled when that ball was snapped. Watch this. Oh, boy. The kick out to Bertrand on a 3rd and 9. Paul Press mentioned a certain Italian establishment up on the east side that I try to visit on Fridays. I had a chance to actually sit with some of the high school coaches here in the city and have lunch with them today, and kind of got it from the horse's mouth about a few different topics. And one of them would be the agreement that tonight's game probably could be decided later in the game, right up on the line of scrimmage. But as it stands right now, it's a 22-7 football game. BHS over Centennial. We have some other games taking place tonight. If you missed the CSUB Athletics pregame show, Brian and Paul and I went over the other games that are being played tonight. Bakersfield Christian High School playing in this game tonight, Paul, and they're taking on an opponent that basically it's going to be a good football game, but we still think that it's going to be BCHS.
Yeah, that's because they had to travel. They had to go up to Fowler and play Fowler, and I believe Fowler's only has 1 loss this year. They may even still be undefeated, and BCHS has those 2 losses. But as like Brian pointed out in the pregame show, those 2 losses for BCHS
Brian, can you hear me?
Is Taft, who's ranked number 1 in Division 4, and Tehachapi, which was ranked number 1 in Division 3. So BCHS all the way on that one. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's probably going to be easy for them.
Brian Adams, another game that we talked about tonight, and this is one that I will have a keen interest in. Well, all of them, but I really looking forward to hearing about that Garces at Tehachapi game. What a football game up on the hill.
Well, Vance, we talked about in the pregame. It really should be a good game. Those teams met earlier in the year, first game of the season, and now they're to a point where they've figured out how they're going to be, what their identity is, and I look forward to reading about that game tomorrow. Should be a good one.
3rd and 7. Both crowds starting to get into it now. This is an important series for both football teams. 3:29 Centennial on a 3rd and 7. Bivens as a running back on both sides of him. Goes for the hard count, and I think he gets it. That'll make it a 3rd and 2. The Drillers want a piece of him so bad that they're a little antsy, and that's a big 5 yards.
Yeah, it looked like Nelson out here on the outside, coming on the outside backer position, got a foot over or so. And this isn't pro football. You can't step over and break that line of scrimmage and jump back. No. This is high school ball. Once you go across, that's it. That official's going to blow that whistle, throw that flag, give him 5 yards, and changes this 3rd down call right here.
Marcus Nelson amongst the guilty. Tomorrow, Bakersfield College will be hosting the College of the Canyons in the Southern California semifinal championship game up at Memorial Field. That ought to be a nice one. Look at this. Everybody split out to the right. Bivens on a keeper. He thinks he keeps it. And Bivens, does he get it? Ooh, close. Real close.
Looks like maybe about a half a yard. White Hat's going to go over there and look at it. And he'll make that decision, as we know how the protocol is. And he's looking at it. And he's going to ask for a timeout.
Well, perfect. That gives me a chance to announce the Kern County Officials Association tonight. Calling this game, the referee, Phil Diebel, umpire Mark Roberts, head linesman Rocky O'Neill. The back judge is Baines Bank, and the line judge is none other than Dennis Wren. Dennis Wren been doing this for a long, long time, and Dennis and I had a chance to kind of catch up on some things last weekend at the Golden Empire Bowl up there. And Dennis and Baines and Rocky, Mark, Phil, thank you for your involvement. For all of you looking to do some officiating, the Kern County Officials Association, get on the website, get a hold of them, let them know, you know what, I want to contribute to the community, I want to help out. And they just had a wonderful year all year long. We appreciate their commitment to the community. Thank you, fellas. The Kern County Officials Association, 1st and 10, Centennial. Oh, boy, Golden Hawks crowd getting a little fired up down here. Bivens wants to put the ball in the air. Bivens in trouble, goes to his right. Lyman need to stay behind the line of scrimmage. Bivens rifles one out there, and it's, oh, boy. Vince Van Horn had a beat on that and couldn't pull it down. Even the Centennial crowd just went, ooh. Well, here's Van Horn, and this should have been picked off.
Well, right here as we see Bivens rolling out, and he sees it, and he sets his feet. Doesn't throw a bad ball. He just doesn't see Van Horn out of the corner of his eye, bearing down, running downhill, as we say, attacking that topside shoulder.
Man, what a smart player.
Yeah, very, very, very smart right there. We get a nice shot of Vince Van Horn, deuce. And be interesting to see where young Van Horn goes and plays. I know there was some different JCs around here looking at him play, but
2nd and 10. Handoff goes to Joey Bertrand. Bertrand thrown for about a 2-yard loss, brought down out there by Emilio Cantu, amongst others. So now that'll bring up 3rd and about 13, 3rd and about 14. So after the big first down, the Drillers dig in and make the stop right here. 2:44 and counting left here in the first half. I'm Vance Palm, Brian Adams down on the field, Paul Press up here with me. The Friday after Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a nice time with their families yesterday. And a dream day for me, Paul. I never left the house. I walked out to the truck for about 15 seconds, but never left the house. 3rd and 13. Bivens from the shotgun. Takes the snap. Bivens cuts up to the left. Looks for a little room. Might be able to pick up a first down. Doesn't get it. Gets driven out of bounds. A nice hit out there by Jarek Johnson and Sean Andrew. Brings up very interesting field position now. It'll be 4th and about 3 at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, this really easy decision for Nixon. He knows he's going to have to. They can't come down and kick field goals and get 3 and then BHS go down and score 7. So he's going to go right here. He's going to go for it. Probably call one of his better plays. Not too concerned about it. Coach Nixon, he's been through this many times as a coach and as a player. You know, being a former quarterback, he knows what he's doing.
Here's a 4th and 4, 4th and 3. Could get him on the hard count. They don't even try. Bivens throws this one across the middle, and that's going to be incomplete. And the intended receiver we think was Josh Crenshaw, but he lost his footing. And he's getting an earful from Coach Nixon. So that will bring up 1st and 10 for the Drillers. And, yep, Crenshaw hearing it from Coach Nixon on this one.
Yeah, he must have ran the wrong route and didn't take. And what happened was he drug his man over there. They're probably trying to run some type of clear out. And, boy, Centennial doesn't have their people in position. And Mitchell's going to snap the ball.
He sends Ojeriaki in motion. Well, for all of that, really, not much. Emmanuel Turner gets about a yard, but it looked as if, Paul, you were right, they could have taken advantage of Centennial not being ready on defense. Second and about 9, as we see on our flash score replay. Things never really evolved for the Drillers on that. He did send in Jeriaki in motion, thought he might try a slant.
Right. Maybe that played the Golden Hawks, favor. They didn't know who to block. Everybody's running around.
Van Horn and Ojeriaki, split way left. Mitchell looks at him, waves to him with his hand, get over here. Ojeriaki looking for a block. Turner cuts back upfield. Turner, a hard 6-yard, 7-yard run, pays the price as he's hit hard out there. What a big hit by Brian Maxwell, Dustin Robinson, and also number 54 out there, Jacob Cross. Well, should have known. Oof, watch this hit, everybody.
Well, Emmanuel Turner makes a spin move right there and gets another yard, but I'm sure knowing Emmanuel Turner like I do, and he's a great young man, he probably smiled and told him, good job, nice hit, and jumps up.
3rd and 1, under a minute left in the first half.
Mitchell decides to hand the ball off to Durando. No, Mitchell keeps. Sorry. Fooled me even there, President. He faked to Durando on the keeper, gets the first down. Peter Mitchell picks up the first.
Yeah, they run that little dive option there. He has the option whether he wants to hand it off or then he can keep it and get around there, and then he still had an option threat with the tailback trailing. But Pete Mitchell looks like he's hobbling over to his coaches right now.
Well, and Andy Sandoval, he looks like he's coming off. Adam Sandoval, he's coming off a little gimpy as well. So number 13 for the Drillers, number 14 for the Golden Hawks are walking off. And give me about a second here as we have, Mitchell's getting the play from the sidelines. He'll jog it in. Thought it might have been a timeout. The clock starts again, 45 and counting. Drillers lead by 15. And, the president, Pete Mitchell, demonstratively limping on that ankle. So might be somewhat of a storyline here in the second half. 22-7, Mitchell hands the ball off to Alfonso Jackson. Jackson trying to get outside. Jackson cuts up field. Jackson still on his feet. Ooh, boy, what a nice big first down that was. 21 seconds on the game clock. They'll stop just for a second here to get the chains moved. What a nice run here, Paul, on our flash score replay.
Yeah, Alfonso Jackson runs so smooth, and then he kind of gears it down right there and makes a great spin move. But as you see his pad level and everything, he's kind of bent at the waist. He keeps his pad level low, but he has such a long stride. It's so smooth looking. He covers so much ground so quick, he just eats it up.
10 seconds on the game clock. Oh, boy, confusion everywhere. There's a penalty. Well, at least that'll stop the clock for the Drillers. Van Horn was taken off. Ojeriaki was taken off. They took off a little too early. 7 seconds left in the first half. This should be, by all accounts and purposes, the last play of the first half. It's been, from our perspective, in many different ways, a really kooky first half. Brian Adams carried the first 5 minutes. Thank you, B. And now it's 22-7. Drillers and Paul Gola will take a timeout. And they, with 3 seconds ticked off, after the penalty, they started the clock again. So now it's 4 seconds left in the game clock. Brian Adams, if you could, give us your feel for this first crazy 24 minutes.
Well, I think, man, the Golden Hawks withstood some opportunities where the Drillers really could have buried them in that first quarter.
Sure.
The Drillers had the ball with less than 55 yards to go on about 4 times in a row, so they finally scored. I don't think Bitches is using the receivers, the package we saw against Liberty, the quick hits and letting them make moves one-on-one. They're trying to force the issue to run outside, as Paul said, and they're not able to get outside. They've had a few successes, but you're not going to make your money against this team doing that. You have some mismatches in your receiver game. Take advantage of it. The Golden Hawks just simply are just hanging in there with grit, and that's how they've always been under Coach Nixon. And if they can get anything to click offensively, they got a chance to get right back in this game.
Thank you, Brian. Paul, he pretty much wrapped it all up. I mean, that and what he said and what you said in the pregame, it all kind of ties together here. Really, no team can afford to make mistakes, but also no team can afford not to capitalize on certain situations, and that brings us up to 4 seconds left in this first half, and we'll see.
I haven't been impressed with BHS the last 40 seconds with this clock management. Really took them out of getting a chance to score here unless they make a big play.
Mitchell going to go long to Ojeriaki, and I think Mitchell's really having to favor that foot. He couldn't get it there. So that's the end of the first half, 22-7. The BHS Drillers lead over the Centennial Golden Hawks. We appreciate having with us on Bright House Network's High School Football Game of the Week. When we come back, the third quarter, who's going to win this important football game?
When you get injured, you may be facing an insurance company that has a lot of money to fight your case.
You need a lawyer on your side who's willing to fight the insurance companies and take your case to trial.
If you've suffered serious injuries in an accident, don't let them make you a victim twice.
At Young & Nichols, we've got the experience to take your case all the way.
I'm Steve Nichols.
I'm Thomas Brill.
And you have our word. We're always for the people.
We're here, we care, always for the people.
Welcome back to all of our Kern County Bright House Network subscribers. Pleasure to have you with us. I am Vance Palm. We have Paul Press next to me up here. Brian Adams down on the field. We are about to start the third quarter. BHS leads 22-7. And a topsy-turvy first half with both teams turning the football over. Both teams having some pretty big plays, but BHS still the team to beat this Friday night here in Bakersfield. At halftime, we've been getting scores from around the community, and I don't think any of our picks really have been on yet, except for your and Brian's pick on this game of BHS. Taft maybe tied or hanging in there by 1 point. Garces down, Foothill down, Bakersfield Christian down. So here we go. Kick off of the third quarter. The rest of Centennial's football season in the balance here, trailing by 15, and they'll kick off to Bakersfield High School. Here we go. It'll be taken by Alex Mitchell at the 17-yard line. Alex Mitchell looking for a little block here, a little block there, doesn't get it. 1st and 10 on about the 13-yard line. Wow. Brian Adams, your coach Gola, you had a quick word with the Drillers. It's your ball here to start the first half, start the second half, first series. What's the word?
Well, Vance, the one thing he talked about is last time he said they came here, he just felt they were just, the emotion level was not right, and they were just beat because those kids just wanted it more. He said, but this time, these guys want to get this win and move on to the section game, and they're going to keep playing hard on offense and defense, and they feel they can turn the game out.
Van Horn will be in motion. The handoff goes to Turner. Kind of a carbon copy of how the first series started. Paul Press, your coach Nixon, you had a quick word with your guys. You're at home. You're the only team to have beaten BHS all season. What was your word to the Golden Hawks?
Well, I'm going to go in and remind them right away, hey, guys, we were in this similar situation about a month and a half ago or so, and we came back and we did what we needed to do to win this thing. So let's continue, keep our heads up, execute, and don't panic in this situation. Play Centennial Hawks football.
2nd and 8. They keep it on the ground. Alfonso Jackson this time gets wrapped up and thrown down. No gain. Should be about a 3rd and 8. I'd like to thank our sponsors who have been with us all season long, the CSUB Athletics pregame show, the law offices of Young Nichols, the Bakersfield College halftime show, Flashco for our replays and these great scissor lifts, and the Barber Honda Player of the Game Award goes out at the end of every game to one special person, and that will be sponsored, of course, by Barber Honda. 3rd and 7. Big defensive play here for the Golden Hawks. They need a stop. And we have what I think might be offsides on Centennial. Oh, right. Boy, Adam Sandoval was trying to get up close and personal with Ojeriaki, and of all things, he crossed the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Ojeriaki was lined up out here in the slot, and that means he's off the ball because Vince Van Horn was on the ball. He was the outside receiver, so they take their slot back, put him off the ball, which is pretty typical in football. And they come out, and they're trying to press up Ojeriaki, and he steps across the line and gets a quick 5 yards. So Ojeriaki's yelling at the official and yelling at Mitchell, hike it, we got him. You don't have to hike it. It's not the pros. Once he goes across, flag.
3rd and 4. It changes things now. Turner looks like he's going to throw it. Oh, he has Ojeriaki wide open. Can he get under it? He does. What a pass. Touchdown, BHS. What a beautiful long bomb spiral on the money. Touchdown, and the Drillers with a huge turn of events here. Look at this pass. Oh, boy. Emmanuel Turner lays one up, and that is picture perfect.
You know, Ojeriaki just basket, catch it in. All you got to do is catch it, and right there just slides in. Now, I was walking across the field at halftime with offensive coordinator Sean McEwen, and he kind of winked at me, and I said, hey, Coach, what happened the last half? And he goes, nothing. We get the ball first right now. We're all set up. I said, you're going to score a couple? And he goes, well, we're going to try. And he just kind of gave me a wink like he had something up his sleeve.
Mitchell hammers the PA2 through. It's 29-7, and oh, boy. A minute and 47 seconds into the second half. Look at this, Kern County. This is our Flashco replay, and Turner just lobs this one up here. Brian Adams, he put a lot of wind underneath that thing, and it was just a perfect pass, but this just gets receivers fired up when the running back's laying them in there.
Well, Vance, you don't care who throws the ball, they throw it like that. It could be my grandma.
And I've heard she's got a great arm.
She throws it like that, she does.
29-7. BHS on their first series in the second half. Looked like they might have sputtered on the first couple of plays. Centennial looking for a big third down stance. It was 3rd and 7. Encroachment on the Golden Hawks moves it to a 3rd and 4. Don't know if that affected the play call. Not quite sure. Never know. But it ends up being a pitch pass for a touchdown. And the BHS crowd now, they're starting to get a little chippy because they're thinking, hey, play another quarter and some of good football here. We might be in line for another Valley championship.
They sure are. And I kind of had a sense that Coach McEwen had something up his sleeve the way he was kind of smiling at me. He looked like a cat that just ate the canary.
Mitchell. This one gets taken at about the fumble! Oh, my goodness gracious. That's a fumble, and it's picked up by Cooper Dameron. So Cooper Dameron on special teams on our Flash Score replay. We see the attempt to run this baby back, and it's handled out there by number 8, Masuda. He runs into his own guy, and there he is, Coop Dameron with another big fumble recovery. This is his second in 2 games against the Golden Hawks. Don't forget, Paul, Cooper Dameron had one down on the goal line earlier in the season, and now Dameron comes up with another big one. 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Will Mitchell go straight to the air? He sends Van Horn in motion. Mitchell hands this ball to Alfonso Jackson. Jackson wants to get outside. Speed versus speed. Jackson stays on his feet, and that'll make it 2nd and 6. Oh, boy, the Golden Hawks better dig in.
Yeah, this is not what they wanted. They didn't want to give up the long touchdown. Of course, nobody wants to be in this predicament, but this is not what they needed to do. They needed to try to get the momentum on their side, and yet here it is. BHS has a huge momentum swing with the little gadget play, little pitch toss there, and now a big mistake on special teams. Just not the time for the Golden Hawks right now. BHS scores here. It's one nail in the coffin.
Ojeriaki trots in motion. Mitchell wants to go to the air, throws it over to Van Horn. Van Horn takes it at the 12, still on his feet. Van Horn up to the 4-yard line, so Ojeriaki pulls them all into the end zone almost. Van Horn comes underneath it, but a flag on the play. What's the call going to be? Oh, boy.
Ineligible receiver downfield.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Coach Gola not going to be happy about this. He was looking to put that one nail in, Paul.
Yeah, and it just, this play, if it looks familiar, it's because this is the exact same play that they ran with Ojeriaki when he scored the first time. They faked the little play action right there, but they reversed the receivers. This time Ojeriaki runs the clear out, and Van Horn delays and slants underneath him, breaks off his backside. And I couldn't see who was downfield, but he said somebody was downfield. I don't know.
Van Horn, the sophomore, who racked up a Valley championship his first year on the varsity squad 2 years ago. Now he's trying to make it 2 and 3 years. Nice pass by the president, Pete Mitchell. As Ojeriaki and Van Horn go out again. Durando and Alfonso Jackson in the I formation behind Mitchell. Mitchell in that mini shotgun. Sends Jackson off to his left. Mitchell goes to his left, fires one out to AJ. AJ cuts up field. Alfonso brought down at about the 23-yard line. That'll make it 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4.
Well, right there, Pete Mitchell just keeps it alive. And if you see when Pete throws it out there, he kind of gets up off his feet and really gives it everything he can so he get the ball out there as quick as possible.
Well, that right ankle is still hurting him, Paul.
Yeah, you know, and I asked the coach coming over here. Of course, his coach isn't going to say, nah, he's banged up, because I asked him, first question, Coach, what happened? How's Mitchell? He's fine. McGowan looks, goes, fine. That's
exactly
one word.
But really, how is he? Fine, Paul.
Yeah.
3rd and 3. 3rd and 3. Mitchell hands the ball off to Turner. Sorry, Jarek Johnson, everybody. Apologize. Jarek Johnson on the run, and he gets it very, very close. And that's the first down. He gets it. So with 9:04 left in this third quarter, a lot of football left here. But now the Drillers capitalize on the fumble on the kickoff. Dameron falls on it. Now 1st and 10 from the 20. And it's actually at about the where the first down marker is, Paul. It's about at the 11-yard line. So conceivably they have a chance for 2 more first downs. They would bring them to about the 1-foot line. But do they need it? Ojeriaki in motion, but the handoff goes up the middle. A nice strong run. Going to be a flag on the play, right in the heart of the run. either a face mask or a hold, something along those lines. And it's going to be a face mask against Centennial. Oh, boy.
As we can see it right here, it's going to be right in the middle of the pile, kind of late in the play, right in here, because the official, normally if that would have been a hold, he would have called it right away.
Sure.
And as we see now, the flag comes in late, and that's kind of how I was thinking. It must have been a face mask, or the hanky got stuck in his back pocket, because normally if they call a holding, it comes out right away.
So 1st and 1 from the 11, so they do technically have a chance to get 2 more first downs, this one and another one. I formation, Alfonso Jackson takes the carry. Alfonso Jackson wrapped up at about the 8-yard line. Clock continues to tick after they get the markers set up, and now the Blue Crew starting to really feel good about things. A 22-point lead, and see a couple of players running off, a couple of players running on for the Golden Hawks. We see one player coming back on for the Drillers, and that's the quarterback, Peter Mitchell, who runs off to get the play. And whatever his coaches say, we see him giving a little bit of favor to that right ankle, Peter Mitchell. This time he has Emmanuel Turner back there behind him. Durando, this time Turner gets fumble right into the hands of the Golden Hawks. The ball pops out and lands right into the hands of Cameron Shelton.
You can see right here on Flash Go Instant Replay.
Where's the ball?
Hand popped. It's already out. He's got a hand. The linebacker comes through and reaches around and kind of hits it. That's the one thing about playing in cold weather. They they get long sleeves. These running backs put long sleeves on, and when the ball doesn't get that grip against your skin, it can easily be popped out when you have long sleeves on and trying to carry the ball in there like that when you only have one hand on the ball.
Wow, what a big play for the Golden Hawks. They're about to go down by a bunch, and now they have it back in their hands. Bivens off to the right, thinks about the option, doesn't have it. Bivens, man, oh man. And Van Horn lays him down at about the 1-yard line. Paul, don't know what's happening here with the blocking scheme.
No, Van Horn comes in and backdoors it right here, and then he kind of sells to Bivens that, hey, I'm going to take your pitch, man. And then at the last second, he takes Bivens' outside shoulder and kind of freezes Bivens so he doesn't get a chance to option it off. Played very well by Vince Van Horn. He's showing his senior leadership, and his intelligence tonight is really showing on the field, running pretty good routes, although his father kind of critiqued his route at halftime.
Well, the ball gets put back at the 4-yard line. He clearly got thrown down at about the 1. Now Bivens hands the ball up the middle, going nowhere against this BHS defense, and man, now they're starting to get after it down there on the line of scrimmage. Well, Brian Adams, you think you're the Golden Hawks, you've got a chance to maybe get back in it, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and very long. We've got a player down on the field. Oh, boy. 1 second, Brian. We'll see. Do you know who's down, Brian?
I can't see what number it is, Vance, at this point in time.
I'm trying to look and see if there's 5. 5's got his helmet off. He's standing up. So I thought maybe it was Bivens at the bottom of the pile.
The player got covered up immediately, so he didn't see it. Well, Brian, let's go to that point we're talking about here. Right now, the Golden Hawks thinking they're going to have an opportunity to maybe move the ball down the field on this fumble recovery. Now it's 3rd and long. They've got to stay in this thing. There's a lot of football left.
Well, Vance, again, the Drillers just keep giving them opportunities to breathe. This team has not given them the haymaker shot. I thought when they got the ball in that turnover and they got that short side of the field with the Jiriaki and Van Horn, they scored 29 points, 4 touchdowns. 3 of your touchdowns have been on passes.
Right.
I just thought they would come in, Paul, we talk about it all the time as a coach, especially offensively. You get that short field position, you got that receiver matchup. They never took one chance in the end zone.
Yeah, you're correct, Brian. You have to go ahead and take that shot, and I kind of expected them to take the shot too, and then they kind of got a little conservative on the play calling. If, running it up there, and usually the sure-handed Emmanuel Turner. But as I noticed he was going through that line, he's got those long sleeves on, and he only had one hand on the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Quintero was the Golden Hawk that went down. They're tending to him over on the sidelines. 3rd and 12, 6.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Bivens in the shotgun. Drillers showing that everybody's coming. Bivens goes to his left, throws one out. Bivens going to try to get out of trouble, but he cannot. BHS crowd loving it. Bivens thrown down hard, and that'll bring up 4th And it looks like 12 again. So the Golden Hawks are going to have to punt here. Bivens went to his left, thought he'd come back and throw to his right.
Another player down.
And now another Golden Hawk is down. And I'm still looking for the number. Is that Bivens?
No, Bivens is over here talking to Jeriaki and them as he's walking off the field. They know each other.
Where's Dustin at? I see Dustin out there too. Okay, Dustin's walking around.
Yeah, I can't see. It looked like one of their linemen that walked over there, and then all of a sudden, he was standing up, and then kind of after the play was after the fact, kind of sat down and flopped down like he felt some pain coming up. But Bivens looks like he's a little tired coming over. You know, before the game, I had a chance to go over and talk with Brock Bivens' grandfather, Bob Bivens Sr. He's here. Bob's in a wheelchair. He's double amputee. He's missing both his legs, but you know what? He's here every game. Every game. They put him right here in the front. His daughter-in-law is standing right beside him right now, and it's Colleen Bivens. And he's at every one of Brock's games, been at his games ever since he was a little kid, hasn't missed any games. In fact, I was talking to the family earlier, and what a trooper. He was in dialysis this morning. You know, he gets out of dialysis at 11 o'clock or so and still makes it to tonight's game, and there he is. Very nice gentleman. I had a chance to talk to him, and really enjoyed it. And he's got a sense of humor, too. And
well, this player that was down is, I think it's Christian Johnson, and he's up, and Christian Johnson shaken up on that play. And it is a chilly, cool night here. One of the top sellers of the evening is hot chocolate. Our thanks to the super one, Sammy. Thank you, Sammy, for bringing up the warm tri-tip and the hot chocolate. We're good for another couple games.
Yeah.
4th and 12. Golden Hawks will look to punt. A little bit of confusion. Everybody talking it out. Oh, they're waiting for Johnson to officially get off of the playing surface. 4th and 12. On the 35-yard line, Van Horn and Alex Mitchell. Low punt. Ooh, scoops it up in the end zone. And now Mitchell's going to have a ton of room to run if he wants it. Alex Mitchell looks, gets to his outside. Mitchell has a ton of room. He gets knocked out at about the 12-yard line, and ooh! Some of the crew down there, photographers going down in Kern County. You're going to see on our Flash Go replay some of the sideline people here going for a ride. Alex Mitchell, he's coming right at Carlos. Look out, look out. Ho! Happy Thanksgiving, my man. There's about a $4,000 camera that went down. Under 6 minutes left in this third quarter. Van Horn in motion. Mitchell hands the ball to Emmanuel Turner. Turner cuts up field. Turner gets to about the 12-yard line. I think if Coach Gola told him anything this time, it was, fellas, hang on to the rock.
Yeah, and BHS must have saw what I saw in the first half because they're really keeping that ball in the middle now, running the ball in the middle. But that passing game, I know they want to kind of keep it from getting picked and return the other way and give the momentum back to Centennial here. But I still think you got to give them one shot here, and this would be a perfect opportunity. 2nd and short, and both of them are split out wide.
Mitchell. Alfonso Jackson carries it. And he gets the first down without any question. So it'll be 1st and goal from about the 8-yard line. 5:14 and soon to be counting left here in the third quarter. It's been all drillers pretty much the second half. They score in their first series with a long pitch pass from Turner to Jeriaki. They kick the ball off to Centennial, fumble on the play. Drillers recover it, come marching down. They fumble at about the 6-yard line. Centennial tries to make something of it. They can't. They have to punt it, and on a 1st and goal from the 8-yard line, they're going to hand this ball off to Jarrett Johnson. He gets it down to about the 5-yard line. As Mitchell will limp over, slowly jog over to get the call for a 2nd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, and I think Mitchell's right ankle is sorer than the coach wanted to let on, and I'm sure Coach was doing his job when he was talking to me. And But, Mitchell jogs out and looks okay there. But if we remember, he's not the one that threw that pass. And Mitchell doesn't have a big, strong arm. He has to get his hips and his feet planted to throw the ball. He's only thrown one ball, and that was almost out to the sideline out here to the line of scrimmage.
Johnson gets nothing. Centennial crowd loves it here, pushes him back for a loss. So that'll bring up 3rd and goal from about the 11. So a nice defensive stance here for the Golden Hawks. Derek Johnson nowhere to go here. Brian, on a 3rd and goal from the 10, you like to see something put in the air?
Vance, I would like to see some people put in the air earlier. That's
right.
That's if you had your main success.
Right.
I mean, that's football 101. I mean, you gotta give what they take what they're giving you. This defense has done very well against the run, except for the one big run by Durando. There has not been a lot of room to run.
You're right, Brian. You're right. 3rd and goal from the 6. This time they come out to the left. It's Van Horn and Jeriaki always together. Jeriaki in motion. I formation. Mitchell looks. Mitchell throws. Mitchell puts it in the end zone. Touchdown. Jeriaki right in front of Brian Adams. Touchdown, BHS.
Good for a Bakersfield touchdown.
35-7. He just kind of snuck underneath him, didn't he, Brian?
Wow.
Back out, and he was open for a while, and Pete was trying to get the ball to Vince, and he couldn't get to him, but Jeriaki was open for a while, threw it out there. Nice job for a big guy going down low and securing that catch.
35-7. The Mitchell brothers will try to dial in the PAT. Snap, hold, kick, and it is a beauty. 36-7. The Drillers giving Centennial all they can handle.
Wow. Looking at the stats and looking at Centennial's going to have to play their best game. As we see right there, Pete Mitchell throws it down low so nobody else can get it. Jeriaki, he came to play tonight. Brian Adams, we were talking earlier, and Brian Adams said, Jeriaki comes to play his game. It's going to be a long night for the Centennial DBs because, he's a great receiver, and Brian Adams knows better than most what it takes to play in big games and as a receiver perform. And I'm sure he may have had a few talks with some of the Driller faithful.
Well, Paul, speaking of big games and Brian Adams, let's take this opportunity to go back down to Brian and talk about the UCLA Bruins. Tomorrow, another big game, Brian Adams.
Well, man, the Bruins might have got a reprieve and got a little lucky because Dennis Dixon is not going to be playing. Without Dixon, Oregon is a subpar to average Pac-10 team. He's just a guy that changes the outcome of a game. When you're talking about a Heisman Trophy candidate who's considered one of the best players in the country, period, not just a season, period.
Right.
That changes the whole complexion. You saw when Brady Leaf got in the game, he did not do well against Arizona, and UCLA's defense is good enough to cause him a lot of problems this Saturday.
Thank you, Brian. Big football game tomorrow. Mitchell not kicking anymore. Kickoff by Craig McMahon Jr., taking it about the 14-yard line. This is going to be Dustin Robinson. Robinson is speedy, but he gets wrapped. Hit hard out there by Cooper Dameron and John Gilaraducci. So Dameron and Gilaraducci lay out Dustin Robinson, and he's down. So the big hit on our flashcore replay. Watch this, Kern County. Robinson, the speedy player, but pow, pow.
Oh. Bending back right there.
Sorry, the first hit was by Jesus Mora. My apologies, Jesus. Mora drills him, then Dameron comes in for another big hit, and then Gilaraducci. So the law firm of Mora, Gilaraducci, and Dameron taking care of business.
Yeah, and I hope Robinson, he's getting up and he's going to be all right. Looks like his left ankle. That's not good.
Fresno State baseball coaches looking down saying, hey, we just signed that cat, and he's one heck of a baseball player. We need him.
Yeah, he's got kick and swing a bat, huh?
A lot of insult to injury here. These Drillers are putting it to him on the scoreboard, and seems like every other play, Golden Hawks going down. So a big hit on the kickoff return. Dameron getting some coverage tonight with a fumble recovery and a big hit in there. So 1st and 10 Centennial. 3:22 left in the third quarter. A ton of football left as Bivens sends a bevy of receivers out to the right side and to the left side. 5 linemen up there. Bivens wants to keep it himself. He's wrapped down for a loss. No chance. No chance against this Driller front 5.
Well, with the loss of Robinson, there goes the ability to stretch the field. He's their fastest player, and he usually goes deep. So now you have Bivens, running back, quarterback, leader, and everything else. And Kenneth Wallace, on 45, they're going to tee off on him. I mean, Kenneth Wallace has been he's been all over him all night. Kenneth Wallace and Tevon Jackson, 55, they have one job: stop Bivens. It's not an easy job, but when you have both linebackers can just focus on Bivens, and no one out there to stretch the field.
Here they come again. Bivens in even more trouble, and this time he's slammed to the ground by Mitch Noy, and now Noy throws him down. So now, as you say, Paul, in golfing terms, everybody just teeing off on him and driving him home. Here's another look on our flash score replay. Bivens really has no time to even look at receivers. He's just getting hit hard. Wow.
Yeah. Mitch Noy right there, just bull rush, and Mitch Noy is the strongest player on the BHS Drillers. Mitch Noy was the young man that went out at the beginning of the year with an injury.
That's right.
Came back. I saw his dad at halftime, and Dad come running up. Scott was, I said, yeah, your boy's playing well. Your boy's playing well. And he's pumped up.
36-7 is the score. Bivens looks. Bivens in trouble. Thrown down again. Bivens thrown for a big, big, big loss as we hear the BHS crowd absolutely stoked to hear the score up north, Paul. Looks like could be a big loss up there for Edison, and Clovis West would have to come down here and play BHS.
There it is. Noy again, 75. Splits two offensive linemen. Splits them. Just goes through, showing his strength. And gets another sack. I mean, there's two in a row. Mitch Noy getting it done.
Drillers, high snap. Ooh, man, first a low snap, now a high snap. This could be a fortuitous situation for the Drillers, as it was about a 25 to 30 yard punt. And unfortunately, pretty much everything going wrong right now for the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, it's falling apart and falling apart pretty quick. And this is sad because let's face it, these Golden Hawks really haven't lost one game this year to an East High, and we covered that game. And really, they had a shot at the end there with some confusion on the clock, or they could have had a shot to win that game.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That seems like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, that was a long, long time ago. $1:15 left here in the third quarter. The Drillers trying to put some more points on the scoreboard. Ojeriaki in motion. Mitchell to Turner. Turner wants to get outside. Turner looks up. Turner gets 4 or 5 yards on that play. A lot of bodies still flying around. Was there a flag on the play? There was a flag. Brian, you happen to be right on top. Did you see anything?
Yeah, they're going to call that on Vince right there.
Oh, boy.
Blocking, so they're going to move it back 10 yards. And Vance, just a note, Vince Van Horn came in only 2 receptions away from being the all-time career reception leader in BHS history.
Say that again, Brian.
He's come in. He's only two receptions away from being the all-time BHS, tying the record for the all-time reception leader.
Oh my goodness! So big news.
Is that coming in at halftime or before the game, Brian?
Before the game.
Well, he's had a couple receptions, or he's had just one.
I know he had one for the touchdown. I know he had another one called back, and I can't remember if he got any more.
We'll have to find out and document that. Turner cuts up field. Nice big hole, gets back up to the original line of scrimmage. We'll probably try to do some homework on that because that's news in the making, especially coming from Brian Adams.
Well, yeah, he's going to end up in his dad's book. His dad, Rick Van Horn's the one that wrote the book last year.
Can you say reprint?
Yeah, reprint, so his son can be in the book because, as we see right here, BHS just keeping the ball on the ground and working that clock. With only 25 seconds left. Now it's clicking down. And, if Vince Van Horn ends up with another reception tying it here, and then it looks like they're going to be playing next week.
Cooper Dameron in motion. Mitchell hands the ball off, and that'll go to Emmanuel Turner. And this will be the last play of the third quarter. 36-7, all BHS. 1 quarter left on the high school football game of the week semifinals in the Valley playoff run. All BHS. Back in a moment.
For over 3 decades, Flashco has been the local equipment company in Kern County. From major job sites to weekend projects, Flashco is the contractor's choice for equipment rental or purchase. We're also sign specialists using cutting-edge technology to create high-quality custom signage for anything. We're also the #1 local supplier of traffic control equipment, including signs, barricades, safety equipment, and more. Plus, our skilled mechanics will repair any make or model of heavy equipment. Flashco, we'll take care of it.
Finding an attorney can be an intimidating process.
When you hire an attorney, you're looking for 3 things: trust, respect, results.
At Young & Nichols, we deliver all 3. Let our experienced attorneys get the best results for you.
We'll always respect you and give your case the attention it deserves.
And we're professionals you can trust.
We're here, we care, always for the people.
We're about to start the 4th quarter here at Centennial High School. Vance Palm alongside Paul Press, and down on the field is Brian Adams. BHS up by 29 points, and frankly, it could be more. They bobbled the football down on the 5-yard line at an earlier series. Mitchell holds everybody off on a 3rd and 11. Mitchell throws it outside to Van Horn. Vince Van Horn, not only does he catch it, touchdown. Vince Van Horn and the Drillers. We don't have an official number yet, but Paul Press, that touchdown will at least tie him for the all-time receiver in Driller history.
Yeah, I was talking to, when we were off the air there, I was talking to the one of the assistant coaches up here who does the stats, and he had 2, but Brian Adams was right. One was called back on a penalty. So Vince Van Horn, as far as we know right now, he ties the BHS history record, the record with receptions, total receptions in a career, but not only does he tie the record, he does it on a touchdown catch. And those plays have been open all night for BHS.
Some of the Centennial fans already packing up and getting out of this cold weather. And this one is finally blocked. They've been going after it for a long, long time. Nice hustle out there by number 64, Jacob Cross. Jacob Cross blocked that one, so nobody giving up here on the Centennial sidelines. But when you're going against this squad, Mitchell to Van Horn, here's Van Horn, grabs it. Missed tackle out there by Masuda. And Van Horn jogs in for what we believe to be the all-time tie record for receptions. And there we see the Centennial crowd heading home with a lot of time left in the 4th.
Wow. I thought it'd be a 14-point game, 14 to 21 points. But I did not expect a blowout like this. But things just, things don't go your way. Kind of that, snowball effect. Things started rolling downhill right at the beginning, and it just kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger, and Coach Nixon and squad just couldn't stop that big old snowball from coming down the hill. And the Drillers, well, they hit the gusher tonight because that offense is just flat out scoring. And let's face it, the defense only gives up a little over 9.5 average points a game. Well, they're holding them to 7 right now, so. They say defense wins championships, but with an offense like this, they have a good shot for next week.
A low burner. It's going to be caught at the 25-yard line there by Ryan Nunez. Nunez already has one long run back. Oh, boy. What a nice piece of work out there. A beautiful tackle from behind by Kristen Moore. Nice play, Kristen Moore. Caught up with the speedy Nunez, and that'll be 1st and 10 for the Golden Hawks. The Golden Hawks trying to muster up some type of energy, motivation. As we see Nunez on the flash score replay trying to get away. And that's a nice tackle right there. Nice hustle. Nunez just got the ball over to that hand in time. And now the Golden Hawks, as Bivens and Cross jog on. This is going to be a long, long quarter for the Drillers. They want this clock to just continue to tick off. It's probably going to race by for the Golden Hawks, who have 35 points to come up with. Frankly, don't think they'll do it, but you never know. 1st and 10 Golden Hawks. Drillers still looking like they're going to send everybody, including the kitchen sink. Lopez in motion. Bivens will take it. Bivens goes to the right side. Bivens still out there, and he gets pushed out of bounds by Van Horn. Bivens gets about 7-8 yards. As we see our flash score replay, Paul Bivens now just saying, you know what, I'll try to crunch up some yards here.
Yeah, Bivens is a tough kid. Talking to him last week out at a BC game, and just tough kid. And right now, you know, it's all Brock Bivens been their offense all night, either running the ball or trying to make that pass or running for his life. I'd hate to say, what would the Hawks look like if they didn't have a Brock Bivens this year? He's had a tremendous year to get him to this point, to get him to the semifinals, Division I. He's played a heck of a season.
Bivens across the middle, tries to throw it out there to Ojeriaki, and there's the flag. Coach Nixon all over the official there said, hey, that right there is defensive interference. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see it on our Flash Go replay, but Ojeriaki, as fine of an athlete as you'll find in the Valley, but I think he went over with the left hand, Paul.
Yeah, he went over with the left hand, but you're absolutely correct. His right hand was on the back, as we see it right here. It's going to come into your screen right there. He tries to reach around with his left hand, but his right hand barely got on the back there, and they're going to go ahead and call that, because if they didn't, Coach Nixon's almost halfway out on the field in the official's ear saying, come on. Yeah, I mean, they've been all over the guys all night. You got to give me a call.
Ojeriaki's so confident in his talents and his skill that he takes the risk. 1st and 10, Centennial at their own 45-yard line. Bivens trying to get out of trouble. Oh, he is hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Wow, amongst the people up there to hit him hard was, as Paul mentioned earlier, Tevin Jackson. Here's a perfect angle right here. And look at this. Bivens gets clogged up there, then tries to get out of bounds. Watch this hit right here, everybody. And, well, probably not going to see it.
No. He's brought down by a host of tacklers. Marcus Nelson, as you said, too. Marcus was there. All of them were there. Tevin, I mean, he's been keying off. But looking at the game film from last time, I thought BHS would come in and try to run some man on the outside receivers and let everybody else tee off on Bivens, and that's what they've been doing tonight.
Here comes everybody. Bivens lobs one up there, throws it out. It's going to be a nice pass. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Centennial crowd wants interference. Nice battle back there for the football. And they do not get the call. Brings up 3rd and 10.
No, Alfonso Jackson does a good job of using his body, just keeping the receiver away from the ball, running with him. He gets his hip up against the receiver, turns back, makes sure he's looking back for the ball. There's no pass interference there. That was a good no call by the officials, because he didn't pull on him. He was looking back for the ball. He just basically ran a straight route and kept the receiver from breaking on the ball.
3rd and 10. Maxwell and Wallace sent out left. Bivens. Here comes everybody again. Bivens from the screenplay. Ooh, had nobody to go to. Thought he was going to lob it out there to Joey Bertrand. Bertrand hobbling too, so Bertrand injured. Hey, quick programming note as the Golden Hawks get ready to punt. Tomorrow night, Bakersfield Condors will be on the ice hosting Phoenix, and it'll be the teddy bear toss tomorrow night at Rabobank Arena. And it should be a very, very big night for Rabobank Arena to have all of those teddy bears tossed on the ice. But that will be after Bakersfield College Renegades try to continue their winning ways and go undefeated. And then Sunday, the CSUB Roadrunners will be in Rabobank. Bo Redstone and I will make the call, and that'll be the Roadrunners hosting the Pepperdine squad. So another big weekend. And I had someone mention to me earlier in the week, Vance Bright House Networks, you guys pretty much cover everything of significance in sporting events in Kern County. You guys have a fun winter. Yes, we do. And can you imagine next spring, early summer, Kern County's new home to NASCAR gets going. The racetrack will be up and rolling. Can you believe it? More action. 1st and 10 for the Drillers. Cooper Dameron split out right with Alex Mitchell. Peter Mitchell hands the ball up the middle to Emmanuel Turner. So now Coach Gola having some of his juniors that he's going to be looking to for next year's leadership out on the field with 10 minutes left here in this football game.
Yeah, you're not going to see hardly any of the starters now. They're going to go ahead and get them out with only 10 minutes left and counting right now.
Our director Bernie Johnson had a nice tidbit that he put in our ear that if Van Horn does go out, and if he has been put out, he will probably have to wait till next week to break the all-time reception leading record, and what a game to do it in a Valley Championship game. Dameron in motion. They're going to go to the right side. Everybody blocking for Turner. Turner cuts up field. Turner makes something out of nothing, gets about 4 or 5 yards up there, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Well, Brian, looks as though the Drillers will be heading for another Valley Championship game. Is it expected of the Drillers every single year, Brian,
Well, I think they had that kind of pressure on them because the program tradition had been brought back some time ago, and I think the fans and the players themselves, they expect to be in the championship games to have an opportunity to win championships.
Thank you, B. Dameron and Mitchell way out right again. Peter Mitchell, the quarterback, the president, tries to go to the hard count, audibilizes, and that's going to be a timeout called by Coach Gola. Coach Paul Gola with a timeout. Thanks again to CSUB Athletics Department. Big win over Fresno State last weekend. Man, oh man, the entire city was rocking and shaking when the Roadrunners beat the Bulldogs. And of course, I'd like to thank the law offices of Young Nichols and our Bakersfield College halftime program, and Flashco for the instant replay and these great scissor lifts. And then we also have Barber Honda as the sponsor of the Barber Honda Player of the Game. It is really picking up now, Paul. The wind's starting to pick up, getting a little chilly. I'm seeing your neck disappear into your leather jacket, and mine as well. So obviously it's getting pretty nippy up here. The cameramen and the coaches all starting to kind of tuck low up here. Next week, we don't have an official game yet, everybody. We don't know exactly which game we'll call. There's a game going on in Fresno right now that may help us make that decision. Last time we checked, Clovis West was up on Edison. If that be the case, they'll have to come down here to play the Drillers. But Tehachapi also beating up on Garces from what we've been told. You never know if that's a game that we'll go up to and call. Taft hanging in there from last check we had, so there are some options of what we will do and where we will go for our Valley Championship game for the 07 season. 9:05 left. Coach Gola called a timeout, didn't like what he saw, so he had to stop the clock, not something he wanted to do. Dameron in motion. This ball is handed off to Jarek Johnson, and JJ gets nothing. And the Centennial crowd continues to file out. The stand's starting to get a little thin here from the Centennial side. Nobody has left the visiting stands of the Bakersfield High School Drillers. The Drillers will punt. Wow, Paul. I got to get that fireplace going when I get home.
Yeah, me and you both.
All right, you can get mine going too.
I got to go take our set back, make sure our set is put back, and who knows, maybe we'll pull it back out next week and have a nice CSUB pregame show if our director allows us to do so. And hopefully it'll be here in Bakersfield if all prayers are answered.
Well, pretty much exactly what we don't want to have happen here, as it dips below 40 degrees below up here, it feels like. A stoppage of play. Brian Adams down on the field in his trench coat right now, nervously pacing. His Bruins have an opportunity to keep Coach Durrell for a couple more years with a couple of big wins over the Oregon Ducks and then over USC the next week. So 4th and 9. Dameron will punt. Dameron will snap to Mitchell. Pete Mitchell back in and end over end, and this thing takes a Driller punt. Man, when it's going your way, it really goes your way. Lopez picks it up. Lopez runs into his own man, then he runs into 7 Drillers as he's brought down at about the 33-yard line. So the Golden Hawks will come back out on the field. And see Lopez take a look at it, comes back up, and he looks for 1 second. Comes back up, runs into his own guy, then Cooper Dameron jumps on him and says, I gotcha. We hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving yesterday. I think I broke the all-time record for the amount of food one human being can eat. Paul, I didn't stop. Well,
I had an outstanding Thanksgiving. We had a couple of the kids were out of state, visiting relatives and going to school and everything. We took off and went to Knott's Berry Farm, and there was no lines. We got to ride rides left and right. Spent a great time at Knott's Berry Farm yesterday.
Whoa, the inside scoop from Press. Hot off the press. Under 8 minutes left. Bivens in the shotgun. Has Bertrand to his right. Bivens wants to keep it himself. Goes to the right side. Bivens gets shoved out of bounds. Gets about a 4-yard run. I've got some close special friends heading off to the coast tonight and tomorrow. Travel safely. A lot of people on the road. And get back to Kern County safely. Bivens goes out of bounds. Stops the clock, much to the chagrin of the BHS crowd. They want this thing to get over with. They're saying, hey, Brock, we're up 35. Let's get home and enjoy some hot cocoa.
Well, I was thinking Brian Adams called the first 5 minutes. Is he going to call the last 5 minutes?
Brian, we're out. It's all yours.
Difficulties, technical difficulties.
Hey, that's a nice run right there. Bertrand picks up the first down, middle of the field. Bertrand, he's been gimpy too, and he struggles to get back up. You got to love the heart of any Coach Nixon team, and especially this one. Came in 10-1, and they had that tough loss to East High School, Paul, and I'm glad you brought that back to our memory. That seems like a long, long time ago, as they had some confusion at the end of the game with the clock, and they had to rush on their field goal kicking team and didn't get it off, and so I forgot all about that game. I've forgotten about quite a bit, and I was supposed to start talking about our APP finalists. Next Friday night will be the Valley Championship game, and the Adams Palm Press Awards will finally be given out as Bivens looks for some room, looks for some space, and he tries to get free, but he cannot do it. Dimitri Katsantonis with a nice defensive effort there. So Dimitri Katsantonis pulls down Bivens. Nice play.
Wow. And, you know, Bivens, what a heart. I mean, this guy's a champion, no matter what happens. Tonight's outcome, but he is a true champion, Bivens. If he doesn't win a bunch of awards this year, I'll be very, very surprised. You know, as far as leadership, he's been very accurate with his throws. The maturity and the way he's grown up, not just physically, but maturity, presence on the field, reading defenses, been a big step since last year.
2nd and 12, 6.5 left in the football game. Drillers still bringing everybody, but a nice play out there by Bivens. He faked everybody out and continues to go to his right. Clock will stop again. Bivens absolutely content on stringing out this this final game behind center. He wants to keep going as long as he can go. So with 6:26 left on the clock, 42-7, Drillers have come across town and not only made a statement in this game, but made a statement for next week. Whoever they have, they want them.
Yeah, and they're playing team football right now. You know, a couple years ago when they won that Valley title, they had a young man named Philip Thomas.
Remember that?
And remember, that was still, in my mind, that's the most impressive individual performance I've ever seen on a football field. Philip Thomas 2 years ago in that Valley Championship game.
Oh, boy. Big hit out there as the Golden Hawks get nowhere. They also had Varvel, Calvin, Whitehead, and a lot of great BHS drillers on that team. And I remember you and I and Brian went up together in my vehicle. We had to come back about 1 mile an hour because of that heavy fog on the way back. And by the time we got back, we were able to get back in and watch the highlights. And what a great Valley Championship that was up at, I believe it was Tulare. Ooh, blocked punt. They can't get it off. And the Drillers try to scoop it up. And it ends up in the end. Oh, my goodness.
Mitch Noy.
This BHS crowd is absolutely bonkers. They
Mitch!
In. Oh, my gosh. Mitch Noy ends up the lucky dog in racing terms as we have one of the Drillers down. And that's going to be Johnny Norwood. He gets up and hops up, but look at this play. The big block comes into play by Kenneth Wallace. Everybody tries to get on it. Noy's looking for it and says, all right, you grab it. Okay, if you don't take it, I'm going to get it. Get out of the way. And here comes the big boy, Paul, out early in the season. And the BHS crowd was up. They know this young player was out early, and now he's been such a integral part of the late season success, and he finally gets brought down out there.
He almost had a touchdown, 5 more yards. Mitch Noy gets it. You know, I met that young man back in 4th grade. I was actually his vice principal. He's grown up a lot.
Wow-wee. 1st and goal from the 6. New quarterback in. That's Alex Mitchell, the vice president. And that might be a touchdown. Is it? It is. Touchdown BHS. Well, Brian, no more fitting way for the Drillers to get close to the end zone than one of their workhorses in Noy to pick up the ball. I know every football team loves it when a big fella can gain some yards.
Well, I think it was a refrigerator Perry kind of started out when you see the big fella rumbling like that. But you know, let's give it to that defensive front line. They played the game. I know there's a lot of points on the board, 48 points, but when this game was in the balance, when the offense wasn't clicking yet, those front four, they did an excellent job, and in my opinion, these guys really sealed the game.
Thank you, Brian. I don't know if that's any type of a hint towards the Barber Honda player of the game, but It's been a very, very impressive night for the Bakersfield High School Drillers. They will play for the Valley Championship next week. We still don't have a score yet, or a late score for Clovis West Edison. I'm trying to find out now. Paul and I both making phone calls, sending text messages to get the word. 5.5 left, and our Flash Go replay, Centennial trying to punt the football, ironically, of all things, to get it out of the danger zone and try to just stop the bleeding, but no way. Kenneth Wallace makes the big block, and here we see it again. And it looks right to us, everybody. It looks like Noy and everybody else just says, all right, go ahead and pick it up. Pick it up. And he can't pick it up, so that's when Noy grabs it, and he runs over Taylor Alexander, the kicker, the punter, and then finally he's the one that finally makes the tackle. And Noy hops up, and ooh, boy. Paul, you have any late scores?
Yeah, it's 17-10. Clovis West, they just had a big stand on the 2-yard line. They stopped Edison from tying up the ball game.
Boy.
Big defensive stand, big momentum change up there. Edison was driving back down to score the score, and Clovis West digs in and holds them up at the 2-yard line.
Wow.
So right now it's 17-10 Clovis West. If Clovis West wins, BHS will be home next week.
Man, that must have been an incredible stance. The Drillers, first long full kick of the game for the Drillers, and now some confusion in the backfield. Lopez tries to get it, and he's thrown down out there. A great play by Irving
This is just
Gantz.
for you guys, because we don't need to air because it's going to be already known tomorrow. But Matt Alvarez just texted 79-yard interception for T. Foothill's now up 23-20.
So, Brian, give us that score again. Is Foothill up?
Foothill is up 23-20. Matt Alvarez just texted me 79-yard interception return.
Wow.
Way to go, Foothill Trojans, and Dennis Manning and his gang over there. Coach Sneed and all. Way to go, Trojans. Way to represent. That means Foothill, if they win and Tehachapi wins, Foothill will have to go up on the mountain. And I'm going to tell you, if the weather doesn't change, Foothill's going to get back in the finals this year like they were last year, and they have a chance to win this year.
If the weather doesn't change, man, I'm going to have to get some warm clothes for golf. We have a driller coming on awfully late, and it looks as though that was Kenneth Wallace who came on late. Didn't really matter. Bring up a 2nd and 12. Clock will continue to tick now. We'll dip below the 5-minute mark after this play. For those of you that are somehow just getting to your television, you're watching the Bright House Network's high school football game of the week. That score you see is an accurate score. BHS up by 42 points over the Golden Hawks of Centennial here in the semifinal push to the Valley Championship game. Next week, the Drillers will host either Clovis West or go up to Edison. And it looks as though we have fumble!
Wow. Well,
I was about to say we had a new quarterback, and I couldn't get it out because the ball popped out right in front of everybody, right in front of our camera. We do have a new quarterback, and that new quarterback is Brian Maxwell, and he gets hit, and pow, that ball is out, and it was in absolute perfect vision for all of us to see. And I've kind of always been accused of being a bit too exuberant when I see a ball pop out, but that's how it is.
Well, here's the thing, in real time, just got another update. Edison is down by 7. They have the ball midfield with exactly the same amount of time we have here, 4 minutes. So in real time, if you're watching this game, it's being played out in both areas.
Maxwell on a keeper, goes up the left side. Nice job. Gets about 6 yards up there. Not a bad run at all. So if you're watching this Saturday morning on the encore presentation, we already know kind of what's going on. But 49-7 is the score right now. Fourth quarter, high school football game of the week. We will have a Barber Honda Player of the Game presentation, and it wouldn't be a bad idea if the gentlemen that make that decision, Brian Adams, Paul Press, and our director, Bernie Johnson, another shaky snap, and this one almost gets blocked. So BHS really pouring it on right now, but a nice punt and a better bounce, and it will get down at the 41-yard line. BHS will take over with 3:16 left in this football game. The BHS crowd on their feet, standing ovation every time these players switch sides of the field or the defense comes off and the offense comes on. So tomorrow night will be the real true full moon but it's pretty close to full tonight, and it's been a very full, complete game for the BHS Drillers. Thanksgiving weekend here in Kern County. Once again, a programming note, tomorrow night, Condors will take on Phoenix in the Teddy Bear Toss game, and then Sunday at 2 o'clock at Rabobank Arena, Bo Redstone and myself will be making the call for the Roadrunners hosting Pepperdine, so some great sports ahead of us.
Well, Edison fumbled.
Oh, boy.
Clovis West recovered with 4 minutes left. Clovis West has the ball in a 7-point lead.
Alex Mitchell, the QB. Alex Mitchell on a keeper, trying to get outside. Will he outrun these Golden Hawks? Alex Mitchell, ooh, he tried to administer the hit, but he took a hit. If there's one thing we know about Mitchell and Mitchell, they can do both. Alex Mitchell with the hit of the year earlier this year in high school football. It was featured on YouTube. This young man right here is the younger brother of Peter Mitchell, and it was the hit of the season, and I think Greg Kerr still has that as the hit of the year, and it made big news by going around the world on YouTube. So Alex Mitchell not afraid to dish it out himself. 2nd and 4 from the BHS 47-yard line. I formation for Mitchell. Hands the ball off.
Wow, look at this young man run.
Oh, Kern County, it's over. It is over. And is that Irving Gant? Yes, it is Irving Gant.
Wow.
Well, Brian Adams, you attended a high school that has as rich or storied of a tradition as anyone in the state of California. This is what they're all about right here. It doesn't matter who they hand the ball off. Talent, talent, and more talent.
Well, Vance, one thing about it is that this is all great, and you put up 55 points. But you got to remember last week against a team that had a really solid defense, they struggled to get 12. And next week, either team they play next week, they're going to have to bring the same kind of offensive mentality out, or they may come up short of their goal. If they come up short of their goal in Driller land, having as many wins and 2 losses, no championship means nothing.
Well, it's a great point, Brian. Appreciate that. 2:22 left in the football game. 56-7. The BHS crowd besides themselves. And here's a nice look at Irving Gant. Irving Gant, by the way, another senior. No, sorry, he's a junior, everybody. Can you say junior? Goodness gracious.
If he's not running track, I'm sure the track coach is going to find him, because when he gets around that corner, it looked like two of the Centennial Golden Hawks had an angle on him. But, man, he hit stride, and he was gone. I mean, that kid has some wheels on him. He's pretty fast. And I mean, you have a sophomore with AJ. You have, it just goes on and on. The list looks down, and there's no end to the running backs. I mean, what's Johnson? Jarrett Johnson, was he a junior also?
Yeah, it's going to be, as one of my good friends from Manchester, England, who plays, in their country football and our country soccer, when he talks about a talented team that just continues to reload, he always says, Vance, it's just plain silly. And with the Drillers, it's just plain silly. They just keep reloading and reloading and reloading every year. And now Golden Hawks are going to try to put something together here, but that Driller crowd is up, and that's what you're hearing in our microphones, everybody. The Driller crowd just up and going. 2:22 left in this football game. Another long boot. This one again will be taken by Lopez. Lopez going to go right up the middle on this. No, he looks over to the right side. Lopez gets brought down out there and tackled by James Diaz. James Diaz. Nice tackle out there, JD. Here's our flash score replay. Thought he would start up the middle on the funnel, but then he goes off to the right side here. And a nice tackle out there by Diaz.
Looks like Coach Nixon has put in some of the guys that haven't had the chance to see the field in a while. Got them off the sideline. Nice gesture to Coach Nixon to some of his squads as he's giving his player right there a hug. Coach Nixon on the sideline. I'm going to tell you, he is a class act. Coach Nixon, I have already talked about how much respect I have for him as a play caller on offense, but as a young man who guides these, I'd be happy if I had a son and played for him.
Maxwell on a keeper. Well, we need to have some discussion here about the Barber Honda player of the game. We're going to dip below 2 minutes here. We can kind of just talk it out if you want, Brian and Paul. Brian?
Well, Vance, I already kind of put my case in. I think one of those guys in that front line, you can take a pick. You had Jackson, you had Emilio Cantu, who had about 3 tackles for loss in the sack in the first 3 series. And then you got the big boy that had, is a not
Mitch Noy.
No, I mean, any of those 3 guys you could pick. Because I think their ability to do what they do allows the Drillers to really have some success defensively.
My early vote, well, forget about early, I'll give it to you now. Mitch Noy. Second and 11, Paul. Second and 11, 1:25 left in the football game. Handoff goes to the right side. This time it's going to be taken out there by Greg McClellan. Paul Press, Barber Honda Player of the Game thoughts.
Well, I'm definitely not going to take it away from Mitch Noy because I've known the kid since he was in 4th grade and his dad tracked me down. But I would like to say that Ojeriaki did show up and play tonight.
Yeah, he did.
And he played very, very well.
So did Vince.
And he is deserving. And let's face it, Vince Van Horn ran some terrific routes and played very well on defense. I mean, the 2 receivers for BHS, the 2 in particular, Van Horn and Ojeriaki played excellent tonight. But somebody from the front line has to get it.
Right.
And Mitch Noy is as deserving as any of them up there.
Our director, Bernie Johnson, also weighs in on our Barber Honda Player of the Game. Bernie? Well, it's unanimous, and it's more a picture of the entire front line of the BHS Drillers, and we have to give it to one guy as Maxwell runs into a whale of trouble here, and some of these reserve players for the Drillers that haven't had a chance to lay some wood finally start coming in to do it. But I think we're going to make the announcement now with 13 seconds left. Mitch Noy will be the Barber Honda Player of the Game and represent the offense and defensive line. And Coach Gola gets dumped with the ice water in freezing cold weather. The Drillers win huge, 56-7. They'll take on somebody next week, either Clovis West or Edison. In the Valley Championship game, Brian Adams will be down on the field with Mitch Noy, the Barber Honda Player of the Game. For our director, Bernie Johnson, and his crew, Paul Press and myself, I'm Vance Palm. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next week in the Valley Championship. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Out of here.
Jump into a life you love.
Jump into geology.
Jump into culinary arts. Jump into a life you love.
Jump into a life you love. Jump into music.
With an amazing low cost per credit.
Jump into a life you love.
And financial aid.
Jump into acting.
Bakersfield College is more affordable than ever.
Jump into a life you love. Jump into college.
Your life's waiting, so jump.
For over 3 decades, Flashco has been the local equipment company in Kern County. From major job sites to weekend projects, Flashco is the contractor's choice for equipment rental or purchase. We're also sign specialists using cutting-edge technology to create high-quality custom signage for anything. We're also the #1 local supplier of traffic control equipment, including signs, barricades, safety equipment, and more. Plus, our skilled mechanics will repair any make or model of heavy equipment. Flashco, we'll take care of it.
The Barber Honda Player of the Game.
We're here for the Barber Honda Player of the Game presentation, where the Bakersfield High Drillers defeated the Centennial Golden Hawks 55-7. It was a tight game first half, tight part of the first half, 22-7. The Drillers came out in the second half and the defense turned it up, and it was turned up really by the front guys up front. And Mitch Noy had 2 sacks and also a block punt return where he almost got in the end zone. But Mitch, talk to us a little bit about your defense tonight.
We couldn't have done it without the D-line, and then the offensive line, they held it down, and we kept scoring, and then I couldn't have done it without the D-line because they were getting double teams and it left me free, and then I helped them out, and they got a couple of sacks too.
Well, you guys did a great job on that front line, getting the pressure on Brock Bivens. You know, earlier in this year when you guys played him, he really kind of beat you guys with his legs and his arms. Tonight you contained him. But I was impressed about how you picked that fumble up and took off down the sideline. I thought you were going to score. Tell us a little bit what was going through your mind when you got the ball.
Which way to go?
This is you right here.
I've never done it before. I was like, oh, the ball's right there. He didn't get it. I was like, I picked it up, broke a tackle. I thought I was going to get tackled right there, and then just took off and just never looked back. No, he got me right at the very end with the legs.
Well, you did a great job, and it was a commendable performance by your team on both sides of the ball. And right now we're going to bring in Sam from Barber Honda to make the presentation to you for Player of the Game.
Well, I wanted to, on behalf of Bright House Networks and Barber Honda, we wanted to give you some awards for being the Player of the Game. And I guess only one thing beats this, is that's winning the Valley Championship.
Heck yeah.
Hope you do. Thank you.
I hope so too.
Well, Miff, thank you. You got one more game left. Championship game. Bring home a ring to Bakersfield.
Heck yeah.
And we're signing off tonight, and no telling what we'll be, so stay tuned. Good night.
Bakersfield, are you ready for game day? The CSUB Roadrunners are ready to take on all new NCAA Division I opponents. This is runner basketball like never before. Buy season tickets today beginning at just $100 for a full season of D1 hoops against teams like Oregon State, Utah State, San Jose State, Fresno State, UOP, Long Beach State, Pepperdine, and more. Go to GoRunners.com for a full schedule or call 654-BLUE to reserve your seats for this historic Roadrunner basketball season. Get ready for a fun and exciting season of runner hoops.
When you get injured, you may be facing an insurance company that has a lot of money to fight your case.
You need a lawyer on your side who's willing to fight the insurance companies and take your case to trial.
If you've suffered serious injuries in an accident, don't let them make you a victim twice.
At Young & Nichols, we've got the experience to take your case all the way.
I'm Steve Nichols.
I'm Thomas Brill.
And you have our word. We're always for the people.
We're here, we care, always for the people.
For over 3 decades, Flashco has been the local equipment company in Kern County. From major job sites to weekend projects, Flashco is the contractor's choice for equipment rental or purchase. We're also sign specialists using cutting-edge technology to create high-quality custom signage for anything. We're also the #1 local supplier of traffic control equipment, including signs, barricades, safety equipment, and more. Plus, our skilled mechanics will repair any make or model of heavy equipment. Flashco, we'll take care of it.
This has been an exclusive presentation of Bright House Networks.